but I think that was only on Shank was on what, Sean? Was it on PS or Xbox? I think it was on PS. But then we
Shank
went through that really, really quick.
that was on Steam too, like Shank 2. It's like a 2D brawl game, kind of like this Brawlhalla, right?
Oh, okay. No, I Shank. Okay, I gotta Google it now to see what it is.
Yeah, it's like really, really good.
I think you
It's
might
like
have
one of
played
those
it,
like super
Spence.
quick games.
I remember it being on Humble Bundle like years ago, and I paid like 99 cents to like
No,
4 Humble Bundle. You
I've
didn't
definitely
play
never.
it, Spence? You didn't get
There's
it?
no
No.
way. No.
I remember playing it a long time ago.
Okay, you guys will have to give me a second. I just need to go and change my wire. Like I can't. This seems to be reverting to my keyboard every time I try to change my settings. Give me 1 second, guys.
I I have the link. I can send it to you. I'm not sure. Okay. Links up. You want me to pin it? I can't pin in seed. Yep. Yeah. I had the link up and I heard myself talking and it was really weird.
Custom. Custom.
Yeah, probably. What do I do? What for a living, or what do you mean? I do HVAC work, heating, cooling. Yes. Really? Hey, that's perfect, right? So did he completely quit his job, or yeah. Yep. Yeah, so pretty successful, right? Yeah. That's crazy. That's awesome though. Yeah, no, absolutely. That's great.
Thou.
Yeah, I think so. It's either YouTube or Twitch. Tough call. I don't know. It's I don't know. It's been really hard the past like 2 weeks. Just major drop. But at the same time, like if we went up to like 12K from now, it wouldn't be surprising. But if we sold off to like 7,500 and you were long, then you would feel like an idiot. So yeah, no, it's not worth the risk. And like we've already seen what liquidations can do. So I don't know. It's just it's super tough right now. But it could just be a trap. And if it is a trap, then it's super obvious hindsight. And then if it's not, then you're liquidated. So, well, either way, it could go either way. Like if it's a bull trap in hindsight, you'd look at the chart and you would think, wow, it's so obvious. But if we went higher here, you would think the exact same thing. So it's best just to be in spot, in my opinion, unless you're long from way lower. Yeah, and like the hard thing is that when it's like when it was at those prices, it's so hard to get into a long at that point. But I guess it's just that's how it goes. Well, yeah. Yeah, it's way harder than it seems. Oh shoot, that's me. Yeah, and like it sucks because I had a really nice long position on Binance Future, and let me just look at the chart right now. Yeah, I took it on April 28th, and like since you can't hedge a long position on there, I ended up having to just give it up because I didn't really want to risk getting stopped out.
3, 2, 1.
It's so frustrating. Like without having futures to hedge your position on, like it's so hard to have like a trend trade going on because you either risk giving it all up. Like I would have just much preferred being able to just short on like June futures or September futures and then just see how things go. And then like if I'm wrong on the hedge, then whatever, I give up the hedge and I still have my position from way lower. But I just had money on Binance and it's a pretty good platform for like day trading on, and like that's what this position started as. So it was just kind of like a day trade, but I ended up getting in like super tight because like I was talking about this in Seed with like daily lows being defended. So like that happened like 5 days in a row. So I ended up just buying a daily open with a stop below previous day low. And it was like a $40 stop. So like I was up like, I forget exactly. It was like 10R or something off the move. So I was in like super tight. But then no, it was before the big breakup. So like it was either on the 28th or the 27th because daily lows are being defended that whole way. And if I could have just hedged like I do on BitMEX, then I would have obviously stayed in it. But I guess just no, it's impossible. It's not the same. Like you don't have the same protection.
No, I'm not Pretty Flacco. I am Artemis.
Okay, sorry.
Yes.
I didn't realize it getting started. I'm just looking at you.
Yes, you have us mixed up here.
Free for all or?
Ooh. Yeah, it is free for all.
I haven't played this game in so long. Do you play on controller as well, Sean? Like if you got into crypto during like 2017, that's your if you got into crypto like during like the whole alt boom, like it's not surprising that you like love altcoin. But realistically, the thing that matters is Bitcoin.
Dead.
Shut down.
Nice. She is actually pretty fucking good.
Hey, Sean, are you able to, after this round, are you able to the volume on? People are saying that it's too loud. Keep on seed.
No. Oh. Oh. Wow.
Player 4 wins.
That was very impressive.
Oh, I think I left the game.
No, I think you're still here.
Am I?
Oh. Server failed.
Okay, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Wait, all this time no one was able to hear me?
No, I
No.
couldn't hear anything.
Oh,
No one
snap.
could.
I was just talking to myself here. Okay, well, now it works. So that's good. Yeah, and okay. if
No
it's not-
response.
My bad, guys. Oh, wait, did you guys... Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I just like X my Discord and
Custom.
yeah, okay, I'm sorry. I'm very bad at these things if you haven't noticed already. Okay, and there we go. And yeah, I won! That was you guys missed my victory.
No,
Oh,
we
there.
saw it.
Okay. Okay, sweet. Okay, so where are we where is everyone having this live chat? This is streaming live, right? On YouTube? Yeah. It's just easy to gauge price because on like fundamentals. There's too many variables with fundamentals.
Yeah, I'm here.
I actually think it's gonna go down if we get rejected here at 7.3.
It's hard to say.
Yeah, if we no, sorry, 9.3. My bad. My bad. But yeah, I think this is a critical level that we're at right now, which is the 4-hour 21 EMA. It's also in line with a weekly, and let's not forget that weekly, we still haven't taken out that previous high, so we're still in this lower high kind of structure there. And yeah, I mean, however, if we settled inside the cloud, dude, it's gonna be bullish, 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 bullish. Yeah, but I think the first level to take out is going to be 9.3.
Yeah, like it. No, I see that as well, and like that's the thing, right? Like we could just go sideways here for like almost a month because the monthly closes next week, right? So we have to think about that as well.
Oh man, that's pretty. That's a pretty triangle.
It's hard for me to. That it's hard to say right now because like I mean like I think minimum we hit 8,000 like daily tenkin. But then like if you get down that low already, like the liquidation slide might push us lower. But yeah, Kijun, sorry. Yeah, but like what happened right now, like right on Monday, we took out last week's high. But at the same time on Monday, we had that scam wick. So like it kind of looked like we were going higher, but like now you can see Monday's high is now most likely going to be high of the week. We're under Monday's low, and we're under. Let me just look at we're above last week's low, or no, sorry, last week's mid range, but just use the ranges indicator and put on session breaks, and then you can see the start of the week, and then the first kind of block there gives you where Monday is. But right now we're rejecting off Monday's low, and we're still under it. So I don't know, like who knows what's going to happen for weekly close. It looks pretty bearish right now, though. Yeah, I agree. Like that like after the pump on what was the date? On April 30th, like that kind of bearish block that sent us higher up. Like if we get below that, then it's just everything above it was just the top pattern. And like we've put in a lower low, we've put in a lower high, lower high, and then we failed to break above that, taking out last week's low, and now we're below the swing low. So like if we drop here, it's going to be super obvious, and like it longing here is kind of scary. It's funny you brought that up because I was talking about that with El Chapo and C, and like I was like telling him how like market structure works and whatnot, and I was actually short. I was short on the 21st because I was expecting us to break down like kind of similar to what we did at the end of February, but then I showed him where I was wrong, and it was like it when Bitcoin runs, it's just bear trap after bear trap, and like I think most of the massive green candles are just liquidations of shorts or like stop cascading into each other, and then everyone just all the bears get wrecked, and like that the same thing can happen right now, which is like why it's so scary to short Bitcoin. Yeah, well, just yeah, thanks. Yeah, and
All
like
right, guys. I'm gonna head to bed. I'm tired. Everyone have a good night. No, I'm good. Enjoy. Yeah, no, I'm good. I'm good. Enjoy, guys. Have a good night.
Nice, guys.
Good night.
Yeah.
Hey, man.
Can hear you.
Yeah. I've known him since grade school. I've been friends with him for a long, long time.
Wait, Sean, are you sure they can't hear you? Or they can't hear me because, well, you're replying from my ID. I think Sean's mic stops. Okay, no. He said I don't hear Sean. Okay, cool. There are like 2 crushes on the chat. Like, wait a minute. Bitcoin's not making it easy for anyone right now. It's just not making it easy for anyone. I think the best sort of time frames to play at is like your really short time frame ranges, plus anything on those high time frames like the weekly. If you're like trend trading or if you're doing like this whole you're kind of value investing into Bitcoin, I think this is a good time. But in terms of really understanding where the overall trend wants to go, I think it's making it tough because I like the 19th April price point that Sean just kind of pointed out. That was, and it's been doing this. It's been setting in these lower highs, right, and then breaking up from there. So it's just making it very hard to read.
The last thing you want to be, or like you just don't want to get trapped.
Yeah, and that's exactly what it's doing, right? To people, like even that 10K. Now, before we kind of broke down all the way to 3K, I don't think anyone was expecting that. It was as soon as we took out that previous high on the weekly, I'm like, damn, we're going up. I mean, that was super bullish. Only we broke down, and well, then it was a shit show.
And that's the thing, because like we also like it looked bullish, and we also took out a lot of long liquidity, and then we made up that one candle. Like we almost filled like the whole dump, like 75% in the same day.
Yeah.
So it's pretty good. But then
Yeah.
you start moving down, and then like you can easily get trapped in a really bad long, or you can build a short position and then all of a sudden wake up to like $1,000 candle that's against you.
No, the volatile was freaking crazy. People were just getting stopped out, and I don't know. That was like the ultimate test. A lot of people were like, okay, Bitcoin is going to be the ultimate hedge to the overall kind of stock market, the whole monetary system, and all of that stuff. But that was like the real test when we dumped. I don't know. I want to believe that what happened there was a lot of people, a lot of big investors, hedge funds, and all people that were invested in Bitcoin. I mean, they had to cover themselves when the entire traditional market dumped, and I feel like they were the ones who kind of dumped their Bitcoin bags to cover themselves as a whole, cover their portfolios rather.
Yeah, like that move down definitely wasn't like it was just liquidations, and like
Yeah.
no one's coming, and like obviously Bitcoin has no government support, so people are putting their actual money on the line here. And then you have over leveraged longs liquidating other longs, which it was just like a bloodbath.
Yeah, it was a cascading bloodbath. It was like a domino, right, that just fell there. And it's funny that we're talking about this because I actually got a comment on one of the daily videos, saying that what exchange would you guys recommend? Because well, BitMEX and Binance, they have these scam wicks. I'm like, I'm like that. See, that's the thing though. It's not a scam wick. It's more like the books are like super thin, or some big guy just came and sold his entire freaking bag, and it led to kind of cascading stop losses. Like every exchange is susceptible to this kind of price action.
Yeah, and like in my opinion, like people can say whatever they want about Bitmax, but it's like realistically the only exchange that you can long or short and also hedge your position with low risk.
Yeah.
And like it unless your exchange has futures contracts like they do, like you can't really get into a big trend trade and then hold it for a long period of time, because if you don't have futures to sell against to hedge your position, then it just makes it way harder.
Yeah.
Testing, testing, testing. Testing, testing, testing. Testing, testing, testing. Testing, testing, testing. What's going on? I messed up everything because these things are not charged, man. We need like proper headsets. So I don't know what's going on with my Discord. Settings, audio. So if I do this, that's working. My mic is working, but I can't hear you guys. Like nothing's working.
That's because it's on both stones. So what about the headset? Do you have
Headset
a
is
headset
here,
that's
yeah.
charged? Is this working?
Yeah, it's supposed to be coming.
All right. Can Fraser hear us?
Huh?
Can anyone hear us?
No, I don't think so. This is a Zoom. Everybody can hear us though.
Hello, hello, hello.
That seems to be.
Stop testing. Hello.
Default.
Why is this hands-free? Hello. Why are there like two?
I don't know. Just pick one. Let's go back to that. This is not charged though, that's a problem.
Okay. This is odd.
Let me try doing it with this.
Why don't you try restarting your Discord?
I tried. Is there S11 here by any chance?
Yeah, if you don't scroll so fast, I can't see shit.
Oh, nice. Let me try now. Wait. Jesus Christ, man. What if...
Can you hear right now?
I don't think so.
Huh?
I don't think so. But either way, just assume everybody can hear you. It's just my Discord that is just so messed up. Stop the stream. Can you guys hear me? Let me know in the stream if you guys can hear me, guys. Filters. Okay. Now let me get back onto Discord. I don't think Trailfish is saying anything. Go settings, audio, voice and audio.
Say something.
Testing, testing, testing. Yeah, you're in there, but
Huh?
so my input is my
Yeah, your mic.
yeah. So why is it not working? Microsoft.
So make sure you have that selected. Yeah.
Testing, testing, testing. Okay, go check if you can hear me.
I mean, I have my
Okay.
have my earphones.
Okay, so you guys can hear me, but they can't hear me now. So it's like either one of either Discord can hear me or you guys can hear me. I can't have both. So I'm doing something wrong, man. I'm doing something wrong. I have no idea what I'm doing wrong, but I'm doing something wrong.
Adios, amigo. Powering on. Power on. You've plugged into Nirvana.
Testing, testing. Okay. Okay, so I can hear you now, Krisha. Fraser's muted himself, so Jesus, this.
No, I'm there.
Okay, cool. Okay, I think I fixed everything now. So can you guys hear me, Krisha, and Fraser now?
Yeah. I just wanted to see if I could hear you on the stream.
Okay, no, I want to know if they can hear us though. Now, so I don't think they can hear you guys. So let me go
Okay, yeah. So Justin Warren says can hear you dudes. Thumbs up. Sweet. Thanks, Justin. Okay, you guys went quiet. Say something.
No, I was just okay. Now they should hear you.
Can't be quite too long because we'll all just assume that is giving up on us.
Oh my! I'm such a streaming noob. I'm so sorry, guys. I'm just like literally. You guys are getting to see Mango do this for the first time and fail miserably at it. It's just like trading, right? We all fail so miserably when we start.
Chop was saying he can hear everyone.
Oh.
When's he getting his gaming rig so he can join us here?
Oh, well, he should be getting soon.
So Justin Warren, are you echoing? It's me.
All right. I think we're good. They can hear.
So what were you guys discussing? Could you guys do a recap on what you guys were discussing in terms of exchanges for our viewers here? Because I think that was a really interesting discussion, and I think I messed up and nobody heard you guys. So let's do a quick recap.
Wait, so what were we talking about? Exchanges?
Yes. I think you guys were talking about exchanges, right? I was trying to fix my audio issues.
Yeah, no, we were talking about exchanges and, basically having the option to hedge. Having the instrument to hedge if you have to. And I believe personally that if you are trading and if this is something you want to get into actively, I think exchanges should have that option. And, well, some don't. And I think it's important if you are looking to, actually learn the art of trading, and especially for those who actually want to get into day trading, I think that's going to be very important.
I think regardless of whether you want to day trade or not, you need to learn how to leverage trade just to hedge. You need to learn how to leverage trade. You need to understand what leverage trading really is, because, and I've talked about this multiple times, right? It's a tool, and a tool can be looked at as something scary because you don't know how to use it, or it can be used as something to defend yourself, something to keep you safer, right? So to an expert carpenter, a chainsaw is something to make his life easier and make his life safer. But to us, it's like, oh my God, that's dangerous. I don't want to cut my arm off. But you can use leverage to be safe. And that's what, Krisha, you and I do, right? We use leverage to protect ourselves. Some people don't understand that that's what you can use it for. But they dismiss it. And like, oh my God, he's using leverage. Remember I was talking to Brian, and when I mentioned leverage trading to him. So, by the way, guys, Brian's my best friend from Canada. He doesn't trade, but he does play poker almost professionally. And even as a poker player, he doesn't understand the full idea of leverage, right? And he's like, hey, you're using leverage while shorting. Isn't that dangerous? Can't you lose all your money? So it's because there's this stigma, there's this notion, there's this idea out there that I think it's perpetuated by Warren Buffett, that if you short, your losses are maximum. You could go like infinite losses, right? But if you long, your losses are limited, and that's not true. That's not true at all.
Yeah, I think if you have the right risk management thing in place, leverage can be a very, very, important tool to have. To know how to use, rather.
Yeah, I agree. I think you might be echoing to the users because I was forced to use my speakers. So let me try and fix that for them one last time. If I can't,
That's what Brawhalla was saying.
yeah. So I don't know how to fix that, to be honest.
But with like leverage being dangerous, like you kind of like I see their point, but like for the average person that doesn't know how to trade, like obviously if you're not making money trading, like putting on 3x leverage isn't going to help you out at all?
I think it really depends on their account size and how much. I mean, it's gonna boil down to their stomach for risk because let's face it. I mean, we've all kind of been in a position where we get tunnel visioned on a particular trade and say I'm bullish right now, right? And there've been a lot of times where I've been bullish, I've been leaning bullish, and I never really account for the downside. So yeah, I'll take a thing on leverage. I remember when I first started off, I was leverage trading, and man, I was so reckless with it, and I just went balls in, and the trade went against me, and I got completely wrecked. So it's about that's where the whole risk thing comes into play. Understanding what is your stomach for risk, how much you're willing to risk on any particular trade, and then taking your leverage accordingly.
And that was on Kraken too, right? So you got doubly right, not only because it was leverage, because it's leverage on Kraken.
Good old
No, but that was on
Kraken.
me. I mean, I have my qualms with Kraken, but that day, what had happened to me there, I mean, I'm the only one who can take responsibility for that. I was just extremely reckless there.
And I think that was the straw that broke the camel's back for Krisha, because for what, a month or two, I was telling her, get off Kraken. She's like, I'm comfortable. She's being stubborn. And then that happened. I was like, I had a smile on my face, and she was so distraught. Oh, that was, I don't laugh at that, but.
But yeah, Bitcoin, I don't know, man. I'm bullish. I'm just collecting. That's all I'm doing right now. Every day I'm buying little. If it comes down lower, I'm buying more. And just looking at the current financial system right now, the fact that you have such big guns like Paul Tudor Jones coming in and saying that, okay, this is going to be my hedge. I mean, that means something. I mean, I can sit here and play the ranges, sure, but at the end, I think it would hurt even more if I start chipping at my Bitcoin stash. So
Fraser,
right now,
does any of these fundamental aspects influence your decision to accumulate more Bitcoin or less at all in any way, or is it just the charts?
Are you asking Fraser?
Yeah, I'm not sure whether he heard me. You hear Vinny? I think we lost Vinny. Yeah,
Man down.
Man down. I think he's having issues with his mic. Let's see.
Hello?
Okay, now we can hear you, buddy.
Okay, sorry. I was trying to change some of my audio settings. What'd you just ask me, though?
So I was like, so Kusha just mentioned how because of the fundamental factors, like, for example, Paul Tudor Jones buying Bitcoin, she's just like, F it. She's just going to be buying a little every day and just pretty much dollar cost averaging. Do these fundamental, if you look at the global situation, is it affecting your trading at all, do you think?
It affects my spot view.
Okay, that's fair.
Spot is a no-brainer. If you don't own Bitcoin right now, it's kind of silly.
Yes, also that's actually the way you said it makes it is like perfect. It's kind of silly. And Krisha and I have been talking about this over the past few days now, where we were like, how do we express this? How do we really express this in the best way? That if you don't have Bitcoin in your portfolio now as a hedge fund manager, or as even you're just managing family money or anything like that, it's almost you being irresponsible, right?
No, it is irresponsible.
Yeah.
If you don't have any, if you even the smallest amount, it's we're gonna see Bitcoin go to numbers that aren't even we can't even. It doesn't even seem realistic right now, and in 4 years, it's gonna be we're gonna be looking back now thinking if you don't own any, it's just gonna be so stupid.
Yeah, there's heavy mispricing right now in the market, in my opinion. Something is horribly mispriced. It's either the US dollar that's horribly mispriced, and we're missing something there, or it's Bitcoin that's mispriced. So, So if you think about this, what I mean by that, if the US dollar for some reason, okay, and there's a good argument to be made for the US dollar getting really strong, right? Extremely strong. And then we have some massive deflation. And Bitcoin, all it needs to do at that point is just stay at this price. And either way, you've pretty much, everything else has fallen drastically in value, and Bitcoin stays this value, right? Either way, your purchasing power increases drastically. And that's what people really need to be worrying about or concerned about in terms of investment and wealth gathering. What is your purchasing power, right? Is your purchasing power increasing? Instead of simply looking at your portfolio or your wealth and seeing that number increase in terms of nominal USD or nominal Canadian value, we need to be looking at our purchasing power. Is that increasing? And that could increase while Bitcoin just stays the same value. If USD gets extremely powerful against every other currency in the world, against every other asset in the world. So that's a big question on what's being mispriced. Is it USD or Bitcoin?
Well, it's pretty obvious that like holding USD as an investment isn't the greatest idea, and like I think trust in the dollar's eventually going to fall. But it's also the strongest currency of all of them.
Yep. So at the moment, I think the dollar will get strong before it gets weak. So it's kind of like
it's the best hold.
Yeah.
But no one wants to hold a dollar anyway.
Yeah.
But if you're gonna have wealth in something, it's gonna be USD over anything else.
It's the least of the most unappetizing currencies to hold, right? Like, and it's the most liquid. It's like the world kind of got trapped into a situation where they're like, I have no choice. But now they're beginning to realize that, hey, what's this Bitcoin thing? Right? It's still around. I thought it was going to fail in 2010. It didn't. 2011, 2012. It's still around after 2013. Okay, now this big fork drama issue. This is when it's all going to crash. And what the hell? It's still alive after that too? It's not only alive, but it's actually going back up to its 3,000 highs. Oh, there we go. China banned Bitcoin. This is done. This is dumping. Wait, what a minute. What's going on over here? It's moving back up to 4,000, 5,000, 6,000, 7,700, 10,000. Okay, this is just crazy. 12,000, 15,000, 20,000. I'm going to buy now. And that's
oh, no. Okay, you guys, how many calls did you get from family members or friends when Bitcoin was sitting at like 18 to 20K saying that, oh no, should I buy in right now? I got a lot. Like my mom, she's like, oh man, I should have bought in when you bought in, Krisha. She's like, oh, maybe the next time when it comes down slightly, I'm going to buy in next. I'm like,
oh man, I remember, Krisha, I remember we were in the kitchen with your mom,
and they were really like against it. They were like really against it. And it's only when Bitcoin hit those numbers that they were like, okay, should I buy in now? I'm like, you can't be serious. You cannot be serious.
Well, and the best part is, like, I don't know about your side of things, but for me, like, the whole ride up, I was basically getting like fudded out by everyone. And then all of a sudden we hit 20K and everyone's asking me how to buy.
Yeah, that's the exit signal.
Yeah, and that's just it. So even this time, right, from 3K going all the way to like this 14K region, I mean, this was pretty parabolic in nature as well. And as soon as Bitcoin got to like 13.5 or whatever, I actually got a message from my little sister. Now, she barely messages me. She's like one of, snobby teenagers. She's in that phase. And she's like, oh, so, hey, Bitcoin is sitting at, 13K. I thought it was like super weird. I'm like, yeah, I mean, how do you know that? She's like, oh, no, I just looking at it. I'm like, huh, okay. And it was that time, like, Sean, and I went to Sean. I'm like, Sean, I mean, this is what my little sister said to me. And I'm like, what if this is a sign?
Krisha
And
has
what-
called the
I mean,
top of
that's
both
a-
markets, eh, Vinny?
was like
Krisha has literally called the top of both markets. She's never before said, okay, you know what, we should sell. But the two times she said we should sell was at 20,000 and at 13,000. Like, I don't know how she does it,
All thanks to
but
my
both
family, though.
times,
My family was
That's
a very
amazing.
big reason. behind
yeah.
that.
Like, and both times I was like, nah, this is gonna go up high.
It's so hard.
Stubborn. At 13K, I'm like, Sean, I think this is coming down now. I think this is it. Like, we are doing something different here. I don't know what we're doing, but it's different, and I don't think this is showing any more signs of continuation. But yeah, Sean's a.
I'm an
Sean's
optimist,
super bullish
man.
at the time.
I go for the big wins.
It's so hard to believe it at the time. And like it's funny because in July 2019, like I started getting a bunch of texts, and like I kind of felt like maybe like I thought it was super weird, but like at the same time when it's all happening, like you don't really want to believe it. But of course, like that's the top.
Yeah.
But then you're thinking, what if it's not? What if it's not? And I sell here, and it goes to 200,000.
So at that point, you kind of have to ask yourself, what would hurt more, right? So I think that's what I'm going to start employing now next on the next, big run. What's going to hurt more if I just don't cash out here, or say if price goes up further, I'm not able to catch that run. So I think that's what's really going to set the tone for even like your emotional trader's state. So now in hindsight, I mean, think about it. When Bitcoin was sitting at 6K before it had that 3K dump, how many people wish they sold at, say, I don't know, 10K? A lot.
Yeah.
So it's all like relative to.
It's so true. It's relative to where the price has been recently.
Yeah.
If you, Fraser, you probably remember, right, when we went all the way up to 14K and then we dumped back down to 9K. How good of a buy option did that seem at the time? Spot buy, right? Like, oh, I'm gonna buy spot.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's so relative.
That whole run up though was ridiculous.
Yeah.
That just has never happened before. Like we pretty much went to all-time highs, or almost went to all-time highs in what, like 3 months?
Oh, we did. We tested monthly all-time highs. That's what people aren't realizing. If you go onto the monthly chart, or just switch to the YouTube stream, you'll see that we tested all-time highs over there, and nobody's talking about that. And well, if you just think about that, and if we've tested all-time highs once, and now are we going to test all-time highs again? That level is coming up to 10,800-ish. Okay, so the previous all-time highs on the monthly rather would be 10,800. That is your squeeze formation. You're essentially putting in a massive ascending triangle at that point, or a symmetrical triangle rather, on the monthly time frame. We could break to the downside too, but I wouldn't bet on that. I would not bet on that. This is This is a bull flag on the freaking monthly, man.
Where do you think popular sentiment is leaning towards right now? You think it's bullish or bearish?
For Bitcoin?
I still want to say, yeah, for Bitcoin, like at this very point in time.
I think anyone that didn't sell on the 70% weekly candle drop will never sell. So like I think hodlers they're staying in the market no matter what. But I feel like a lot of people are going to lose money shorting an uptrend here.
Yeah, I agree. So yeah,
People are still leaning bearish because I don't know. I find that a lot of people are still like super emotional in terms of the whole, the bearish narrative, and I can't blame them to an extent. I mean, you just have to look out the window, and I mean, the world is still not in a good place. So I mean, they may not even realize it, but all of these things, I mean, it has a an effect on your psyche as a whole. And I don't know, I feel like a lot of people are still like very, very emotional towards, and leaning towards the bearish side.
I think there are a lot of Bitcoin bears who are bearish on Bitcoin for the past like 12 months now, and the other ones you're hearing. Because one of two things happened, right? The people who had to sell sold and saw the pump happen got washed out, and they don't want to even look at the charts anymore. or the hodlers held and they're like really happy right now, and now their conviction in Bitcoin could not be any stronger. Like after you see something like this and you see the world is literally in a situation that Bitcoin was made for, you're just waiting patiently for it to all unfold. Yeah, like Ash just said,
like
disbelief
every cycle-
stage.
Every cycle kind of brings about a new sort of crop of Bitcoin believers. It's because at the end, when everything, actually settles down, when the music stops playing, the only one that prevails is actually really Bitcoin, and that's when people really come to terms with the fact that had they just held on, right, to just the big daddy, they would have been a lot better off.
And to that point, right, Krisha, what people don't understand is that you kind of want these capitulations, you kind of want these sell-offs, even from hodlers from the 6K region or 3K region, because if you have people who've been holding for a while and they've shown conviction and then they sell at this coronavirus candle, what ends up happening is all the new buyers who do step in, they now have a new price flow, right? Because let's say you buy at 3K, you're willing to sell up to a certain point, because people have a tendency. Now, the three of us may not be able to understand that as traders, but if you think back to our old selves, how often do you used to think, I'm not going to sell until I break even, right? The price you bought is the flow until it gets so bad that you just have to sell, right? Like maybe gets to a 90% loss. But let's say you buy at 6,000, you'd be willing to sit through Bitcoin going all the way down to 5,000, right? Or 4,000. So there's that psychological new flow being set for all the new buyers who step into the market. And that's what I think happened now with this new candle over here. And if you look at it on a monthly basis, every time you've set in a candle like that, last time was August 1st, 2016. We've just gone up and up and up after that. We've not really come back to test those candle lows. And this candle was significant. If you look at this on a monthly basis, this candle you can't ignore this, man. You just cannot ignore this. And the follow through after. If we have only that candle and then we saw another red candle after, you can ignore it. Okay, you can be like, cool, that was a capitulation wick. Had volatility, buyback. But the follow through after that was far too bullish. We took out the highs and we closed higher too.
Well, Bitcoin bears don't last too long.
Yeah.
This is an asset that pretty much only goes up.
I think bears in general just don't last too long.
Yeah.
It's just not the natural state of human beings being bearish. And also, like, and that's the thing, like Sean had kind of spotted this out not too long ago, and that when it comes to bear markets, just take the last bear market, right, from 20K going all the way down to 3K. Look at the rallies. So yeah, I mean, we still had these weekly lower highs being put in, but look at the damn rallies that went up to those highs. Imagine being short on something like that. I mean, it's so easy to get wrecked even when you are on the right side of the whole macro trend, right? And even then, like the bear, like even if you look at traditional markets, look at the 2008 financial crisis. I mean, it's bear cycles compared to bull cycles, it's very short-lived. It's like fame for not too long.
Yep.
And then,
I completely agree.
taking it.
And if you get too greedy on your short, all of a sudden you get squeezed 30%, and then like you puke up the position, then you give it up. And like especially with Bitcoin, like the squeezes they happen so quick, and if you get over leveraged for a short period of time, you end up just.
Well, I was echoing. How about now? Am I loud enough now?
Yeah, it's perfect.
Beautiful.
I think the stream is still on. Is Fraser back? Let's see.
Is it still on?
Yeah,
Man.
I'm back now.
Whoever's still on the stream, you guys are like, you guys are awesome for sitting through this. Jesus.
Let's answer some questions.
Fix your technical difficulties.
Do you guys have any questions?
Yeah. Anyways,
Krisha
go
is
on.
glad to answer.
Yeah, I'm right here. I will pull up whatever chart you guys need me to pull up. Someone asked for XLM, I think. I was actually looking at longing XLM for my Binance to. And I've been having such a hard time with the stupid Binance. Like, it's a scam. That entire margin exchange is one big. It's like it's another way to take people's money away.
Oh, it's a joke to use.
It's horrible, man. Like there's so many edge cases that people are not aware of, and I feel like it's almost cheating. It's not right. Like it's just not right. The way
All it
they've
is
designed the entire thing, even with their fees, like they're charging you. You cannot, execute trades for decimals, right? But they're charging you interest in such a way where you have to kind of put on, close your position for more than is required, and then they're forcing you to take whatever's left and convert it into BNB. It's just one big shit show, man. Like it's one big shit show. I'm like, this is wrong. It's wrong on so many levels.
I was just gonna say, like, the only thing they care about is fees, and like that's all that. Like it's just fee after fee after fee using Binance margin.
Yeah, and the thing is that you can actually be in a profitable trade, right? But just the fees alone will sort of eat into your profits. I'm like, there's too much that can go wrong here. And even the other day, in fact, I was setting in these OCO orders, right? So I was doing a tutorial on how to set in OCO orders. And I don't know if you've tried doing this on the exchange, but they do not give you any sort of notification. And the thing with those orders is that it can go wrong very, very fast if you even miss out a single zero. And the thing is that there's no warning, there's nothing, there's no notification telling you what you're about to execute. And it just goes through, just done. What kind of strikes me as odd about that is that they had certain sort of things in place before when they'd introduced it, actually telling traders what they're about to execute. And so they literally just knocked that off. I'm like, why? There was no reason to do that. Like, people can screw this up really, really bad.
And the best part is that it's so confusing that they don't even know they messed up until you just get the email.
Yeah. It's and the thing is that I don't know. I mean, you guys have probably used it. I know Sean has. I'm not sure about you, trader, but when you're taking on margin trades, okay, just when you're on leverage, okay, just pure simple leverage, something as important as a liquidation price should be on your screen, right? You don't see, find, dude. You don't even see it. Like they have this stupid, useless meter. I'm like, this is so useless. I just
And
like this doesn't
best
tell me
part is-
anything.
the best part is that you're trading on margin with like the most risky asset in, like just some randomly liquid altcoin. And it's the highest risk play you can do. And the process of doing it is just, it makes zero sense. Like I've traded on every exchange possible, and I can't believe that Binance has created whatever you even want to call that.
The thing is that it's brought. So the thing with the crypto space is that it's opened up doors. So opened up the trades to the whole trading field to a lot of beginners. So they don't even know any better, right? They're actually literally coming on to Binance, and this is the first thing they're seeing. And little do they know that the knowledge, even if they do manage to learn the stupid interface, okay, this is not knowledge that they can take and apply onto any other exchange. It just literally dies on Binance. Okay, this is a tough one, man. Okay, let's just say, let me try and, make this very simple. Okay, what's his name again? Elias. Elias, I believe that if Bitcoin manages, I don't know if you trade the Ichimoku cloud, but that's one thing that I trade and quite aggressively. And the one thing I'm looking for on those higher time frames is that if Bitcoin manages to take out that weekly Ichimoku cloud, okay, if we start closing above the cloud, my prediction is going to be, drum roll, 25K.
Tough call. I like it. I don't know. It's so hard. Like right now, like if we break 10K, then like 20K is gonna come in like 3 weeks after that. Like it's just gonna rip through all of this. But it really depends if we break 10K.
Yes. Yes, it's all that's the point. That's the main point. I think because I do believe that as soon as we start doing that, right, we start closing candles. I'm looking for those closes above the weekly cloud. I think Bitcoin does enter a very high it enters a volatile zone. And I do believe we can reach 20K in no time. I think it's going to shoot up from there.
Well, above 10K, like all it is a 100% move up. And like that's not that much to ask for with Bitcoin, and especially like the amount of people that are going to be shorting it, like they'll be wiped out so quick. And like once we break 10K, no one's going to want to sell either. So like the only thing that's going to like it's just going to be short liquidations moving us up at that point. And it won't take much.
Yeah. Oh man. And I feel like I haven't looked at the shorts actually. What are the shorts looking like? That was like my first tip off before we kind of rallied from that 7K region. I'm like, okay, what's the shorts and longs doing? I don't usually look at it, but in like pivotal times, I do believe that it has some sort of kind of paint a picture as to where price could go. Because as soon as you have those liquidations going off, then it's just one big freaking domino effect. It's just liquidation, and you see price actually move up or down depending on which side is getting liquidated. It happens very, very fast. They've not been adding. Yeah, no. Yes, this is an interesting picture. Even the longs, guys, even the longs are like, there's nothing on here. Holy shit. But a lot of alts are going to start, I feel like alts want to start moving. I feel like alts want to, no, you don't think so? I think.
Yeah, I think if Bitcoin moves up, all of these beautiful alt setups will just get crushed yet again.
Yeah.
And like everyone will just be trapped in alts. And like I was just going to say, like, once, like, if Bitcoin runs up from here and alts start turning bearish, everyone's still going to believe in them. And then next thing you know, you're stuck in altcoins and Bitcoin breaks 20K. And like it's like the whole Ethereum story with the 2019 run. Like you kind of lose sight because you keep believing in them. But then meanwhile, like your Bitcoin value has just been halved.
Yeah. Oh, big time. Yeah. That's a big one, I feel, and yeah, that's decentralized finance. I think that's trending right now. Speaking of just altcoins and stuff, if there are any projects, what projects would you guys, are you guys kind of looking at that could very well, be those star the star cryptocurrencies for the next cycle?
Oh shoot, sorry. I have my mic on push to talk and I keep hitting the wrong button. But I think it's pretty obvious on what altcoin you'd bet on, and it would be Link because that's kind of the new flavor of crypto.
Yeah.
You just kind of got to Link. Yeah, like that's kind of like the new Ripple. Like you kind of just have this whole fan base and like they've all made a lot of money, so like it makes sense and I totally get it. But and it hasn't had a bear market either. Like it's pretty much only got up. It's outperformed Bitcoin for like the past like 2 years. So
That's
like
true.
there's nothing. It is. I absolutely. So if I was gonna bet on anything, I would bet Link is gonna go up.
And I do think it has the fundamental backing as well, although I have to kind of just look into that. Probably, Sean, we should do a post or something on this. I'll do a post on it. But I do know Link has some fundamental to it. And what's important, I feel, is the hype, right? So in the last bear cycle, in the last bull cycle, sorry, a lot of people were like getting attached to these projects. And many of those projects actually did have, solid fundamentals to it. However, the network was just not there. That network effect that you need for a blockchain to be that secure, to have that security, that was just missing. No one was using these blockchains, but with the hype comes, well, the network effects, and I do believe ChainLink has that.
Yeah, and like Bitcoin believers, like everyone doesn't believe in it, and then it just keeps going higher. But it does correct at some point, and then it's just like Ethereum. Like if you want to believe in an altcoin and you see Ethereum drop like 95%, like you're like mid to low cap altcoin stands no chance. But like it all has to do with the cycle, right? And like no one knows how long it's gonna last.
Yeah. Yeah, the
And that
incentives are really, really there.
It makes sense too
Um,
because like it's a lower market cap, so obviously it can go up way high.
yeah.
So yeah, like
But
it's the new cult coin.
yeah, absolutely. But compared to a lot of cult coins that we had, like in that past bull market, I think Link is still a decent cult coin to have. There was some that literally had nothing to it, and the fan base that it attracted was insane. Like these guys used to get so emotional. They're just on your case, and it was toxic. Some of these uh, coins that have like had these cults behind it, it was just absolute toxicity.
Yeah, like the toxic part isn't good at all, but like it's nice to see the belief come back in altcoins
Yes,
because like
absolutely.
at the end of the day, like we all want them to run, but we don't plan on holding them at all.
But is that I that's where I don't know. Like I remember when I first entered the space, honestly, man, I didn't hold any Bitcoin. Like to think about it now, I'm like I cannot believe I did not hold any Bitcoin. But I was like heavily into alt, and I had this belief that no, this one's gonna prevail. This one's gonna be the next Bitcoin. And the thing is that a lot of people that enter the space, they're gonna be thinking, they're gonna have the same mindset. They're thinking of the next Bitcoin, the next coin that can go up to 20K. Which is going to be the next one, and which one can I buy at a cheaper rate? It's all very like a lot of people they think in nominal terms, right? There are other intricacies to many of these cryptocurrencies and the blockchains that they're within, but that the understanding, very few people have that understanding, and so that's why they tend to just kind of tunnel vision on one coin, and they're holding that, and they truly have that belief that it's going to be the next Bitcoin. And that's where it can get dangerous, and I believe that that's true for almost every coin. It's just about being vigilant and
But
understanding the different narratives that are going to be that keep
how
flowing.
do they know
Ye-
it's going to be the next Bitcoin when they don't know what Bitcoin really is? That's what
That
They're
baffles
looking
me.
at price, like I said, it's
Yeah,
all in nominal
that's what
terms,
they
right?
mean. They mean the price is going to be the next Bitcoin. And Bitcoin isn't going up and up and up and up because of its price. There's something more to it, and that's people are choosing the easier decision over here, which is to just understand an easy technology, something that they can relate to, and then stop there. Okay, it's the easier decision to make, and that's what I almost did with Ethereum. Right, I'm comfortable with decentralized applications. Why? Because I have a background in computer science and software. It's so cool. Oh my god, decentralization. Imagine a decentralized Facebook. Imagine a decentralized Twitter. It's easy to understand. because we're in that world. But there's more to this, man. There's more to what's going on over here, and people. And I don't care whether someone says, I've been in the space since 2016, I've been in the space since 2013. Doesn't matter. You could have stopped learning at 2016, or you could have not learned anything at all. I don't care how long you've been in the space. If you want to have an actual conversation on the fundamentals, the technology, monetary history, what's going on in the world, the economics behind it all, multifaceted knowledge across multiple disciplines, you're willing to have that kind of conversation with me, then I will listen to you as to why you think your altcoin is going to replace Bitcoin. And I'm not talking about replacing it in terms of price. I don't care about that. I'm talking to replace Bitcoin's purpose on this planet.
Well, that's the thing with altcoins, right? Like you have this belief, but then if you hold too long, you're quickly humbled. And like at the end of the day with altcoins, like you can have like whatever utility you want to like trick your mind into believing. But when the price falls 80%, like all of its fundamental, in quotations, value kind of falls off and it doesn't mean anything. And then if the developers quit after that or something else happens, well, like there goes your project.
Yep.
And that's pretty much the story of like every coin of 2017. Like they were all trying to change the world, right? And then you had these believers, which like I totally understand because I was definitely one of them.
Yep.
And then the idea crumbles, and then like you can blame whoever you want, but at the end of the day, it was your own fault for believing in it. And then when the company runs out of money and can't even develop it anymore, well, it's like, oh, well, like there you go.
And we all say we believe in the project, but we don't believe in the project. We want to believe in the project, so the price pumps. That's the real truth of it.
Yeah, and then when it stops going up, you start like talking yourself into it. And then like when it drops like 95%, you just feel like an idiot after.
Yep. We've all been
I
there.
actually think there are a lot of people that hold coins that are not even going up. They're like fundamental traders, if you want to call them that, and then they'll find a project to get fixated on. They'll go and do some research, of course, of various projects, and they'll find one that seems to have some sort of meat behind it in terms of fundamentals, and they start DCAing in these projects, and yeah, I mean, even though they don't have like these big rallies, you'll still find a lot of bag holders, still very, very steadfast on their conviction that this is going to be the next big thing in the crypto space. And that gets dangerous very fast to your portfolio.
Oh yeah, and then another thing you have to worry about. Well, first of all, like if you're holding a coin like that tight, you're most likely just in denial. And then all of a sudden Binance decides to delist your coin, and then at that point it dumps another 60%. You were already down 95%, now you're down to 97. And then at this point, like you just have this random alt in your ledger, and it's like, well, like, you know what, I'll just hold it, we'll see what happens.
Yep.
And that's like the life cycle of some of these these altcoin bag hodlers. I can laugh. Okay, I can laugh, but I know I've been there. When I first started, I've been there. I've held on to some bags that just made no freaking sense. They were not rallying, they were not doing shit. But I've been there, and now I look back and I face palm.
That's literally hopium. And when we talk about fundamental traders, what do they even mean by fundamentals when they're referring to altcoins? Because most of the time, and I'm not referring to all projects, I'm talking about most projects here, it's just a white paper. And you know what a white paper is? It's just a promise. That's what you guys are really trading. You guys are promise traders. You guys are trading the belief that this team will deliver. And that's fine. If you want to admit to yourself that that's what you're doing, that's fine. Okay, that's a speculation. That's what VCs do, right? That's what venture capitalists do. But don't, like this lol 3 years later, don't fool yourself into thinking you're trading fundamentals. You don't even know what trading fundamentals really means. Very few projects in the space truly has fundamentals. I would argue that even Ethereum right now does not have any fundamentals. My faith in Ethereum started dwindling ever since they were just so finicky with their monetary policy. They had no idea what they were doing, and you can't. There's no way I can ever compare Ethereum to Bitcoin after that happened. There's no way. They just lost all credibility, like all credit to me, at least to me. I'm not saying it's not going to have its purpose. I'm not saying Ethereum's not going to serve its purpose, but it's not going to come anywhere close to. It never really did, in my opinion. But it's just I can't look at it the same way anymore. What people know with Bitcoin is that they are getting something that is, they know what they're getting. They know what they're getting, and they are getting something that's going to have 21 million supply, and that's it. That is it. And that is literally what the world needs right now, with the amount of just, what's the word I'm looking for? Blatant noise. This, without even thinking about it, right? We'll print $6 trillion. We'll print
very
$10
careless
trillion.
monetary policy. They're just extremely careless, frivolous with what it is that they're doing. The world needs Bitcoin because our policymakers suck.
Yep.
Right? The people that are in charge, they just suck, and they clearly don't give two hoots. But in terms of fundamentals of projects, I think there are some projects out there that do have the fundamentals. But I think what is critical to note here is that the crypto space in general is very young.
Yeah.
Okay, it's very, very new. It's an infant. And the thing is that when a space is this young, there are going to be a lot of market inefficiencies. Yep. There's already, before, even in the last bull cycle, there was already so much FUD around Bitcoin. Okay, this is like, Bitcoin was the top most coin there could be. There was already so much FUD, and it had sound fundamentals. The thing is that with these other projects, because the space is so young, there will be inefficiencies, and you cannot account for all these inefficiencies. Even you being early, to the run, is you being wrong.
It's so true, man. This Ma just said, hopefully, and I do believe Satoshi is the Robin Hood of our times. That is so true. That is so freaking true. So well done. I want to expand on that in a bit. I'm going to highlight it. I also want to highlight what Ollie just said. All coins in 2017 were like mini cults, lol. And at the moment, what I'm seeing is there were mini cults, a lot of mini cults back then in 2017. But all of those guys who have survived, or rather got wrecked and then got a job and then came back with new money and entered the market again, what they've turned into, they've all come together and formed their own cult of Bitcoin haters. Have you guys noticed that? They really hate Bitcoin. Yeah. This is a cult against Bitcoin, and it's so strong. They hate Bitcoin with so much passion. They'll come and say things like, Bitcoin's going down to 1K, but hey, I'm buying this so-and-so altcoin. It doesn't make sense to me. If you think Bitcoin's going down to 1,000, where do you have the guts to buy an altcoin, man? Because that's scary to me. I'm not saying
Bitcoin's the only reason why their alt sold off, right? It's all Bitcoin's fault.
Yeah, it's all Bitcoin's fault.
That was I saw it was a meme in the last run. Freaking Bitcoin pooping on every altcoin party. Yeah. And people just sit and sulk. They just sulk so much. Every time Bitcoin, did something, it moved. It had some volatile move, either to the upside or the down, because it always ended up shitting on the altcoin party.
Yeah, and I think that's Fraser's so right on that, because there's no other reason to hate Bitcoin so much. I don't see why so much hate, other than your altcoin got wrecked while Bitcoin was pumping.
Yeah.
Like, this guy seems to have a lot of wisdom right here. Ma, I made money off alts, true, but it was to increase my Satoshi stack, not to invest in alts, and that was the right thing to be doing. Did I do it all too well? No, I did not do it all too well myself. But it doesn't mean I hate Bitcoin for that. I have to sit down, reflect, and say, you know what? I did not employ the right strategy, and I will next time, right? I mean, overall, 2017 was hard to not make Bitcoin out of that run. But looking back, there are a lot of things I could have done better, and now we'll have another run again, and I'll make more mistakes, and we can look back and be like, okay, there's more things I can do better with the next cycle, or might be a new market altogether, right? Like right now, we're seeing people enter from the gold rally, so from the times when gold rallied in 1970, and they have all of that experience, and they're entering these markets and they're using that experience. So just guys, don't get too headstrong on your ideas just because you got hurt on those ideas, right? It's very tempting to hold on to those ideas, because if you don't hold on to the idea, it's you facing the pain that you went through, as opposed to dealing with it and learning from it, because you will have another market like this in the future. It may not be crypto, it might be something completely different. We'll never know, but it's really, really important to always learn from past mistakes. Yes, I'm a Bitcoin maximalist, and yeah, I do want to talk about what he just said. Satoshi is the Robin Hood of our times. I think that's profound in many ways. People don't understand, because what's happening right now is that people are literally, the rich, the wealthy are entering a situation where if they do not have Bitcoin in their portfolio, they are at risk, at severe risk. Whether they like Bitcoin or not, they're going to have Bitcoin in their portfolio, because the way money is being printed and printed and printed, they need an inflationary hedge. And that's what Paul Tudor Jones really meant, right? Like when he's looking at everything that's happening around the world, he needs to look for an inflation hedge against what's happening in the world, regardless of whether he believes in Bitcoin or not. Okay, regardless of whether he believes in gold or not. But you can't only buy gold. Firstly, it's really hard to get your hands on gold. Secondly, you need something that is a safer bet. And believe it or not, Bitcoin is a safer inflationary bet in your portfolio than even gold. So as you see more and more money printing, and you see Bitcoin go higher and higher and higher and higher, what's happening is people who don't have Bitcoin in their portfolio, they are short Bitcoin. They are short Bitcoin because they need that hedge, because the financial system is collapsing and their dollar is losing value, their wealth in all those assets that are denominated in dollars losing value. They are forced to buy Bitcoin at higher and higher prices, and you get this massive short squeeze on the Bitcoin market, because the entire world right now is pretty much short Bitcoin by not having Bitcoin in their portfolio. Because earlier in the stream, we already talked about how, hey, it is silly to not have Bitcoin, right? Well, if you just expand on that idea now, you'll understand that the world is short Bitcoin. And that's how we are seeing a situation right now where no matter how much the price dumps, or how structurally bad the price is looking, it's just getting picked up, right? Which is why I think that even if we come down all the way down to 6.4K, that would have in another situation been enough for me to, be cautious, be bearish. But I think that we're going to get picked up very, very, very aggressively at those regions. Sorry, I went on a rant.
Yeah. And another thing is that like all these like wealth managers, like everyone talks about, like, don't look at the lower time frames. It's all about higher time frames, and like that's how people trade stocks. But for whatever reason, all they do is bring up like weekly or like daily price swings on Bitcoin.
Yep, so true.
And like it's like, are you ignoring that you missed like the biggest trade of the last like decade?
Jesus.
Like it makes no sense. And like another thing, like people say like, oh, you can lose a lot of money in that. Like, sure, whatever, possibly, but like at the same time, the S&P 500 sold off 30%. Like that's like the whole, like that's the largest U.S. index, and that sold off 30% in what, a month?
Yep.
And like you're complaining about like daily Bitcoin movement when like you're ignoring like the whole picture.
And that just goes to show the what's the word I'm looking for? The amateur mindset as an investor from these people coming in, right? So let's take again Paul Tudor Jones as an example, because people are all familiar with the name now. But any hedge fund, for that matter, when they are investing in the S&P, whether it's the index or they're stock picking, they're going to have, let's say, maybe 70% of their assets in that. Okay, maybe it's 60, maybe it's a little bit less than that if they're being a little bit more cautious, but 70%, okay? When 70% of your portfolio drops 30% versus your Bitcoin, which is, let's say, 5% or 10%, that dropping 30%, it's a big difference. It's a big difference. When the S&P takes a hit of 30%, it actually ruins lives. It actually ruins people's wealth permanently. That's permanent loss of wealth. But when you're allocating a smart amount in Bitcoin, and I'm not talking about us or I doubt any of us are allocating a smart amount. We are probably a lot more aggressive, but that's what we are talking about over here, right? This affects the world. The S&P dropping 30%, that was drastic, very, very drastic. But Bitcoin, the reason people like Paul Tudor Jones invest like anywhere between 2% to 5%, and it's still being a significant amount, is because that they know that this could literally go up to $1 million. So their risk over there is zero. That's what they're looking at. I'm sorry, their risk point is Bitcoin going down to $0. They don't care about it coming down to 4,000 or 3,000 or anything like that. It either goes to $0 or it goes to $1 million, and that could literally turn their allocation of 5% in their portfolio all the way up to 99% of their portfolio if you have that kind of return from here.
The thing with Bitcoin, like you said, like realistically, there's no top. Like
Yeah.
the worst that can happen is you lose everything, which is fine depending on what you put in. But like money is infinite, and like the U.S. government kind of proved that in like the last 2 months or 3 months or whatever, that like you can just make as much as you want. There's no limit to it. So like as long as some of it finds its way into Bitcoin, which is the hardest asset we have right now, like there's really no top for it.
Yep.
But that depends on your time frame, right? And like if you get shaken out over daily price action or weekly or even monthly, like that's kind of your fault. And that's why just holding it is like, it sounds so stupid, but at the same time, like for most people, like you kind of like you just have to have some of it just in case, right?
Yeah.
So just look at the monthly chart, okay? And I know I keep coming back to this, but if you look at the monthly chart, you'll see that the bears that were laughing at the bulls for holding, they had maybe 1 or 2 months of their time in the sun before Bitcoin pumps back again, and the holders are like, okay, so now we're back to the previous price, right? Even when we broke down from 6K, we stayed there for 3 months. That was the brutal bear market, and then boom, within no time we're sitting at 8K, 7K as our average point, and then suddenly the flow became 9,000. Breaking 9,000 was a big deal, and now look at us again. We are back up to 9,000, right? After having this bear market that lasted only a month, went all the way back down to 3,000. So the bears, they get to laugh at the Bitcoin hodlers only for a little bit of time before Bitcoin starts having a massive run again. So if there's any asset that you were really rewarded for being a hodler, it's Bitcoin, man. You can't be bearish on this chart. Look at this monthly. It's ridiculous.
And like another thing about Bitcoin bears is like you can make money shorting it, right? Whatever. But at the same time, if you're going to be shorting it all the way down, you have to switch your bias so quickly.
Yes.
In order to make money on the way up. And like, sure, like in hindsight, you can look at the chart, think like, oh yeah, like I can short the top here. But when it starts running up again, and then like you finally start thinking like, okay, like I'm going to get a little greedy here, and I'm going to up my size a little bit. And that could be the time that we finally break through. And then all of a sudden you're really in denial.
Yep.
And then it just becomes like, it's such like, there's just no point to, it's just hard to be a Bitcoin bear. Like,
yeah.
Like the squeezes are unbelievable. And like now that derivatives are as popular as they are, there's so much liquidity, like taking it from late bears. And like if you get greedy for one time, like it can cost you months and months of gains.
So I hope the viewers over here, really listen to what Trader Fraser just said, because it is so true, so important, because what he just touched on right now is by far the most. It's really what underlines what makes it difficult to be a bear. The fact that you have to switch your buys so soon, and you, like he said, you can look at the charts in hindsight and be like, yeah, I could have switched bullish here, switch bearish here. No, it's not that easy, man. Psychologically, trading that is so difficult because the moves happen so fast and the reversals happen so freaking fast that I've seen multiple bears not be on time with switching their buys and just getting wrecked, even though they caught the move down. I've seen it happen. And I was very, it was hard for me too at 7.2. Krisha knows. It was hard to just be like, no, you gotta switch now. Because it happens so fast, guys. You're bearish. You see so much bear moves happen, and the trend doesn't turn around fast, turn around gradually. It's like that, and happened at the 3K region and happened over here too. And it's difficult. It's just not worth it, is what Trader Fraser is saying. That you are better off saving your mental energy, getting ready for the bull move, because it's the easier trade in the long run. It's the stress-free trade.
You don't even have to go too far, Age. I mean, with just what happened recently, and the thing with just moves in general. I mean, yes, because Bitcoin has been in this, like, if you look at the monthly and stuff, it's been like in a perpetual sort of bull run. If you look at, just this most recent price action where we dumped from around that 9K region all the way down to around 3.8K, I mean, look at how fast we turned around. Now, it's very hard. Now, for those that turned, bearish there was so much that was making sense to be a bear, right? First of all, the price dump. And on top of that, the stupid coronavirus thing. Okay, lockdowns everywhere, supply chains are being stressed. There was a lot that was happening, okay? But look at how fast we rallied. This was 160% move. So if you were not, switching your buys fast enough, this would have wrecked anyone who went into a short position and did not have the liquidity to stay in that short.
I mean, I wonder if people are still holding on to your shorts from the 7K region, because that's just being stubborn. You had an opportunity to close at 8.1.
Another thing is like getting greedy with them, because like as price starts dropping, you start like, oh, I have a really high entry, I have a lot of profit to deal with, and I want to add. And then you start adding too low, and like you just get squeezed out. All of a sudden, your average is way lower than you thought, and all your profits gone. Like it's such a dangerous cycle.
It happened to me over here.
What's that? Sorry.
That's exactly not entirely, but that's pretty much what happened to me at 6K. I added to my position. I got a little bit premature on that, and I added to my short position at 5.8K, and we hadn't closed the right candle underneath. I don't remember exactly what happened, but I know I messed up over there, and we had this candle over here on the 30th of March, and I was able to get out before the entire pump. I got out at around 6,200-ish or something, but it ate into my trade, right? Ate into whatever profits I had, and that's it. That's what makes it hard. It happens so fast because these bull candles are aggressive, man.
Yeah, well, it's just like the bull candles after a big sell-off are just it stops of shorts or liquidations of shorts, and you really don't know how high that's going to. And at the same time, like whatever wick, like it could just end up being a wick on a weekly or a monthly candle.
Yep. Oh
and
my God.
It's so dangerous.
Like, you look at these wicks over here that came in at the 8.2K region. Look at those. Like, I see those, and right when I saw that, I was like, guys, I can't be bearish on this, man. I don't care what you guys are thinking. This is bullish to me. Like, it's getting picked up, and I feel like if we come down, if we do break this region over here around 8.5K, if we do, it's beginning to look doubtful, to be honest, then we can start looking for the moves. But until then, this is looking strong. It's looking a lot like what happened around the 7K, 8K region on around to 13K. And everybody was, even back then, Fraser, if you do remember, people thought we were coming back down to 5K, and we didn't. It didn't come. It actually went up and up and up. The psychology
during what time? Sorry,
the run to 13K.
Okay. Well, the whole run, it was, and then like the Head and Shoulders fake out, like it was brutal.
Oh yeah. Jesus. I think I got caught in one trap too over there. Got in and out of my position.
I got caught in so many traps that I just thought, just like, screw this, I can't. The volatility was way too much for me. I just decided to stick to the weekly time frame. The cloud did me really, really well, though. I think that was the one thing I found that I sort of stuck to. Kind of kept me on the safe side of the volatility on the chart.
Yeah, if you trust the cloud, it's amazing how accurate it is.
Yeah.
It's hard to believe and it's hard to trust.
Yeah.
But like, well, once you see it enough, you just kind of got to go with it.
Dude,
Yeah.
Krisha is like the strongest believer of the cloud between the three of us, and she's been rewarded for that. It's like, and you and I should have learned our lesson by now. We should.
No, it was because of the amount of times I got wrecked on the on the volatility after the 13K region. So we hit that 13K, and then something changed there. That's when I told Sean that, okay, something's changed here. Perhaps we should consider getting out. But it was price action was still choppy, and I was getting I was getting chopped up. What's that phrase? Death by 1,000 cuts.
Yep.
Yeah,
Something like that.
Yep. Death by 1,000 cuts.
That's what happens when you're trading one of these really, really choppy zones, and you have the strong conviction that it's going to go up or it's going to go down, and you take a position size in line with your conviction. That can be death by 1,000 cuts, because that will start chopping into your stash. And I realized what was happening to me there, and I had to take a step back. And I'm like, no, I'm not doing this. Okay, what I know is that Bitcoin is important to me, not winning the trade. I don't give a shit if I'm like on the right side, wrong side. I just want to make sure my Bitcoin is intact. And that's where I had to kind of stand aside, zoom out, and I started doing some back testing on the cloud. I'm like, okay, perhaps it's a good time to follow the cloud system. And I've just been doing so ever since. I'm not usually good at the thing with bear markets is that, okay, fine, you have these ensuing, and now the one that we just had all the way down to the 3.8K region. I mean, that was pretty big. But how do you gauge the magnitude of these dumps? You can take your short, but like Ollie just said something on the chat. What did he say? He's like, also, if you think about it, if you're not making more percent shorting Bitcoin compared to just holding your Bitcoin, then what's the point of trading it?
So true.
So it's important of understanding the if you don't catch that magnitude that you think you're going to catch on your short position, like it just makes it all so futile.
I'm really impressed with Ollie, by the way. He's for his age, he has a lot of he has his head on his shoulders, wisdom. It's a really impressive kid. Glad he's on the team.
Yeah.
I don't agree with this, Ma. Success is small wins consecutively. I don't agree with that at all. You don't need to have lots of small wins, and you don't need to have them consecutively. You could have a few huge wins and keep your losses small consecutively, right? Keep having losses consecutively, and you could still be a successful trader. And I think Bitcoin, in my opinion, is the perfect market to be looking for big wins every now and then on the long side. And no, I don't think so. I've been doing it, man. That's my trading style. I lose more. I probably lose more. Like Bitcoin. Okay, I don't want to say this because Bitcoin has been extremely generous and been giving very easy trades off these weekly and daily 21 EMA levels. And you can have some really, really nice big wins, and the losses are small. If you look at the chart, like you're able to get out of your trade with minimal damage, but the wins that come from the trades that you're taking are pretty massive, man. So if you look at the long run and you're willing to just be patient, I guess, just be patient, right? This trade over here, so simple. Buy the 21 EMA and you got to move all the way from 7,000. So the first one was on the 4-day break of the ascending triangle. Take your first position, take your full position, and then some if you want, all the way up to 10,000. And again, you got the same trade again over here. You just wait for those trades. those are big wins. And then this one was massive, all the way from 3.8k all the way to 14k. Krisha told me to sell, I didn't, paid the price. And yeah, you just need those wins every now and then. Fraser took a really nice trade at 9.2k, I believe, all the way down to 5k, or I think he closed at 5k, not at 3k. Where do you end up closing, Vinny?
It was like 5.8. BitMEX went down, and like it. The worst part is that I was short futures, and futures ended up slipping like $1,000 below.
That's
So like
insane.
I could have got out
That-
so much better, and like the bad part about it is on BitMEX, when you're looking at your unrealized, it's showing the unrealized of the index. So like unless you're looking at the real chart, and if you don't scroll over top of your profit, then that's like your actual profit. So like I just screwed up, and then all of a sudden BitMEX went down for like an hour for my area at least, and then by the time I could get back on it, I tried to hedge my position by taking a long on the prep or the perpetual swaps, like the main market, and the like the index price was like $1,000 off. So when I took the hedge, my liquidation price was like super close to my entry, and it was like really confusing. I didn't really understand what was happening with it because the index price has never been off that much. Right? So I ended up just closing it out.
I think you made the I think you did the best you possibly could have considering the situation, dude. So many people were caught, not people, dude. Funds were just caught with their pants down on that, because what we need to understand is that over there, when you're collateralized against Bitcoin, and the value of Bitcoin is going down, the liquidation that these guys had to face gets severe. Because a lot of these firms were borrowing USD, okay, against Bitcoin as collateral. So what happens when your Bitcoin's USD value starts going down and down and down and down? You're forced into liquidations because the collateral is shrinking faster than you could have expected. And that's how a lot of people got hurt really bad, hurt to the point where they had to close doors. So
Is your chart on your screen?
No, not right now. I'll switch. You want me to? Okay. What do I look at?
No, I'm just asking you. I couldn't see your chart. I wonder if I was having a lag
No,
here.
it was just my YouTube, so I could read the comments. So Ma says, yeah, everyone has their own trading style. Yes, that I agree with, and you have to stick with your trading style, because if it's not in your personality to take losses, okay, if you feel pain every time you take loss, and it just makes it harder and harder for you to trade, because sometimes when you're looking for trend trades, you have to be willing to take a loss and move on. If that's not in your personality, just find another strategy that allows you to take more wins and few losses, because you got to make your psychology, the psychological aspect of this game as easy as possible. If you had to say what your trading style is, Vinny, what's your trading style? I think you're really flexible, man, from all the traders I know.
Yeah, see, like I like playing the like lower time frames and then turning those positions into trending trades. But like
yeah.
I basically get in super tight, and like it's easier said than done, because it's like you if you get super tight in on a trend trade,
Your stop
like
losses.
you can make a lot in like the first part of it, right? But you have to be okay with sitting down or letting go of all that profit during the drawdown, right? Yep. So I'm not saying it's perfect, and it's definitely not for everyone, but I like playing the low time frame liquidity and then trying to turn that into a much bigger move.
I think the hard part of that is actually avoiding getting stopped out at the beginning of the trade, right? Because you're playing tight and playing against the ranges. It's easy for the move to. It happened to me on OMG. That's pretty much the strategy I employed, and I didn't get stopped out, but I was literally forced out of my position, and it pumped like 180% or something after that without me. So those hurt.
Yeah, like it, but it's definitely not stress free. That's for sure.
Yes. Yo, fools got caught with your pants down being too greedy. I don't know what you're talking about, man. I don't know what you're talking about, but okay.
And it's funny because on the OMG trade, like Tommy brought it up in seed chat, and I looked at it, and like I posted like a setup that like it fit my system, but I didn't end up taking it. And I just looked at I still have like the RR tool saved on my chart, and it's up like 32 R right now. So
it fit your system, and so expand on that. Why didn't you take the trade?
Honestly, I like right now I'm just so focused. Like I want to say like I'm just worried about Bitcoin, right? And like the last thing I wanted to do was be in an altcoin. So like I was just more focused on what I should do with Bitcoin. So I quickly looked at this alt and I was like, okay, like it looked good. And it was a trade that fit my system perfectly. And I just didn't take it because I was too concerned about what Bitcoin's going to do.
And I think that's one of the big disadvantages to any trader that has been in this market long enough. You can't not be worried about what Bitcoin's going to do. And you need a certain level of being oblivious to the market to actually fully capitalize on an alt rally. Because if you've sat through enough years in this market, you're going to always be worried about what Bitcoin is going to do.
That is actually so true. That is so true. It's about sometimes, at least I didn't realize. It's only now that I've learned TA, and I'm understanding the ebb and flow of things. It's only now that I realize the amount of ignorance and that you needed to just stay put in your altcoin. Because it's hard, because a lot of these coins, yes, even in the last bull market, it's not like they were not, they didn't have their fair share of bear moves. They did too, and some of them were quite significant. But man, people held with this conviction. But now I was wondering if it was really conviction or just plain
ignorance. It was definitely ignorance. Like, how many traders did we think were amazing traders, and now when the real time to trade came along, they all disappeared. They've all disappeared, right? Full-time jobs, etc., etc.
All those guys have been gone for like 2 years or 3 years now.
Yep.
Man, a lot of them just left.
Where are those
A lot of them
heroes?
just
They were the
disappeared.
heroes
But-
of the altcoin market.
At the same time, like this business isn't exactly for everyone, and like if you don't have like a passion for charting, then it's just gonna ruin your life, really.
It's almost as though you need to have a passion for both Bitcoin and charting. For me, it's both, right? I love trading. I love trading. It makes me have to master myself. It's the ultimate battle. I've always been frustrated with picking a field of study because I get bored so soon. And what does that mean? It probably means that I am like it sounds a little funny right now. Maybe I'm far too interesting for any field, right? Okay, if I'm far too interesting for any field, maybe I need to study myself. But how do you study yourself? Trade. You try to trade, and then you realize everything that's wrong about you. And it's the ultimate battle trying to master yourself.
Oh, 100%. And like the thing is if you mess up, there's no one to blame but yourself, really.
Look at this guy in here, MA63 100x brother. Is he talking about Vishal can't hear me? Vishal can't hear you guys. Vishal, do you if you can't hear Fraser and Krisha in the chat, let me know.
All this time Sean was talking to himself.
Oh no. Oh, he's asking who are the people. He didn't know. Okay, he didn't know who the people were. Okay, it's Trader Fraser and Krisha. I don't think you're a degenerate
You know, he
gambler, but when people start, when this other dude saying 100x, unless he's talking about Bitcoin, yeah, that may happen. I actually Bitcoin may what would 100x from here be, guys?
Oh, I would like to do that. Give me 1 second.
I just add 2 zeros at the end over here. It's actually it's
The
close to a
first.
million.
And the worst part about not the worst, but when you're trading and you're looking at measured moves and stuff, and you know where can Bitcoin go to, and you see these numbers, you're like, oh, I can make this a 2x, guys, and this is how much I'm gonna get, and you start crunching invisible numbers in your head and in your calculator and your soul, and it just sticks. And when you don't get it, when your shitcoin bag, well, it turns into just like you know, all those dreams and hopes
Damn,
that I
Bitcoin.
had about this bag saying 50x, 100x, it's just gone to shit. And now you look back at all those bags and they're probably still sitting in your wallet. And you're like, damn, I had, you know, some high hopes for you. And here
Yeah,
you are.
You have to blow the dust off your ledger.
Oh my god.
Yeah. The other day I was on I was using the Ether wallet or whatever, and I forgot how to use it. I'm like, Sean, it's been too long. And I'm like, do I have, you know, do I need this? Do I need that? I'm looking for like random key store files and a bunch of rubbish. I'm like, I don't even remember how to use it. And it just goes to show how many coins there was so many coins just collecting dust in that wallet. I'm like, Jesus Christ.
Oh,
But anyways,
yeah.
guys, X from here is going to take Bitcoin to and dun, 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 dun. Wait, you said 100x? Okay, so that's like 1,000%, right?
That's
Where
like
are
$1
we?
million from now.
Oh man, yeah. Wait a minute. It's 105,456 to be super precise.
Wait, what? How much?
Does that make sense? It does, right?
Okay, wait, hold up. I want you. What is the most bullish thing for you guys, on the Bitcoin charts right now? If you just had to pick one thing.
The most bullish thing.
Yeah.
Like that just happened or just as a whole?
No, just look at the chart. Just look at the chart and be like, you have to make a bull case for Bitcoin.
I'd
Be
just
like,
say
we closed
the
cloud.
I think their reaction to the Fed printing money and the fact, like, everyone from 2017 knows this pattern. It's like the bullish U, or like, do you know what I'm talking about? Like, it's not a U, obviously. I forget what it was called. It was like memed about all the time. Like, you would have a massive sell-off, and then all of a sudden we'd correct back up, go sideways for like 4 or 5 candles, and then all of a sudden we break the high.
Yep.
And like, we're pretty much doing that on the weekly right now, which, like, if you would have predicted this at the beginning of March, everyone would have called you like a fool. Like, there's no way this could happen. And meanwhile, like, we just keep going higher, and it's like, what do you do? Just short this resistance? Okay, stopped. Short the next resistance? Okay, stopped. Short this one. It has to go. Like, there's no way to go higher. Okay, stopped. Well, fuck it. I'm just gonna like short this, and
it's got to
like,
stop at some point, right?
at what point do you, like, where are you wrong at this point? Like, if we break 10K, like, you think we're going to like 10.5 without going to 13? Like, it's,
yeah, no, you don't. If you have the ball to short after we break weekly levels above 10K, I commend you, man. I really commend you. So to me,
those people have to be sacrificed, though.
Go on. Those people have to be
sacrificed. Like those are the people that to 13.
Those people are going to take us to 20K.
Oh yeah, and like, but once we break 10K and have a close above, like, who's gonna want to short it? And this whole rally has been driven by spot anyway, because everyone's scared off of derivatives after this 70% wick down, which was basically caused because of derivatives.
So
So
and,
no one's long.
and people aren't understanding how bullish that is, because usually Bitcoin has moves towards the downside, aggressive moves towards the downside, because people are over leveraged. Okay, people are over leveraged, and people aren't taking the same risks anymore, right? We don't have those over leveraged positions. You have people buying spot instead, and the holding power is just that much stronger because of that. If you're looking at just charts, though, just keep in mind that it's not happened just yet, but this is going to be the most bullish thing to me that I've seen in a long time. The weekly cloud turning green. Guys, we've not done that since 2016. 2016. It's going to be 4 years since, and that's literally the right time, right before the start of the previous cycle and the start of this cycle. If you think about it, 4 years does make sense. The weekly cloud turned green 4 years ago, and we're about to do it. If things keep at a steady pace, even if you have a drawdown right now and then break back into the cloud, blah, 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 what I'd be looking for is a break above the cloud as well as a cloud twisting green around the same time. That's your bull rally starting right there.
Yeah.
Also, look at the Bitcoin dominance chart for a quick second, if you guys haven't, and turn on your weekly on the Bitcoin dominance chart. Turn on the template I use for the Mango ribbon, just the 21 EMA, the 200 moving average, the 10 kin, and the 10 SMA. Or just look at the stream. We just broke out of a structure over there, came, had a retest. At this point, I wouldn't be wanting to hold on to any alts, because if Bitcoin bounces over here, alts are getting wrecked on the dominance chart.
Yeah, there's been a clear break in structure. Like we made a low, a lower high, a higher low, and now we've made a higher high. And we're currently bouncing off the 21 EMA on the weekly.
Yes.
At this point, like you have everyone calling alt season, and like sure, like one or two alts have pumped like 100%. But if you didn't buy the random 30% scam pump, like at what point do you get in after that? So like it's kind of irrelevant, and like I don't
how
know,
do you pick?
You
How do you pick, right?
Well, it's random. It's just like in hindsight, you could have said like, oh well, like if you bought whatever whatever, but 99% had the same setup but just didn't get pumped. Pretty much every altcoin.
The trap that people fall into is that they'll hear their friend who managed to pick it's survivor bias right there, right? Survivor bias. You hear from the people who pick the right coins. You don't hear from the losers, either because they're too ashamed to admit it or they are back to their cubicle jobs. And then you hear from the winners only, and you feel FOMO, and you're trying to pick alts too, and that's how it ends up being a trap. Now, I'm not saying there's no way to pick alts at all. Like if you want to pick an alt, like I said, ChainLink is, like even you were saying, right? ChainLink is a safe alt to pick. XTZ might be it too. What do you guys think about XTZ, by the way?
I don't know much about the project, but the chart is very, very similar to that of ChainLink, actually. I believe it was on on Tezo's BTC.
This one's doing pretty well too.
It too has like Tezo's is also pretty decent, at least in technical terms.
Yeah, it's either Tezos or ChainLink. Like, there's no other altcoin that has the cult following that's going to keep buying it. Everything else is kind of irrelevant. But both of them are strong.
And I remember Tezos having a crazy following just right off the bat. As soon as I actually entered the space, the first coin I heard of was Tezos. At that point, they were not. They hadn't released anything. But these guys have had some massive hype, and they've managed to keep the hype, more importantly.
So Joe is saying it's a token for for Neo Network. I'm not sure what she's talking about. Okay, Vishal is
someone
like,
else.
I take it you guys have already covered technical analysis and targets. Yes and no, but there's not much that has changed, man, from yesterday's video. We can go over it quickly right now again for you, buddy. So what have we done on the daily? We've retaken the 21 EMA, not closed above it yet, but we might be doing just that, right? In yesterday's video, we talked about how I was looking for a test of the 2-day 10 SMA. Well, we just got that. Now the question is, do we retake the 2-day 10 SMA as well? If we take that as well, then I think looking for shorts is completely being stubborn at that point. Just retaking the daily 21 EMA is good enough for me to say, you know what, I don't want to be looking for shorts here. But hey, it is the weekend and blah blah blah. But let me touch on something. And you guys know I don't talk about CMEs much. Ollie, if he's in here, actually, where's Ollie? Ollie, are you in the chat? Let me know if you're in the chat. I look at CMEs in a situation like this. Why this? Because we had a close on this morning, on the Saturday morning, and what's important to look at right now is what has CME's done in relation to spot. And you'll see that CME closed their chart right on the 21 EMA, right on the 21 EMA and the Tenkin. So now what's important to me now is what Bitcoin does on this weekend because of CMEs. If Bitcoin actually opens in a situation that forces CMEs to open underneath the 21 EMA, then on Monday I'll be looking to see, hey, do the CME charts use the 21 EMA and the Tenkin as resistance and then sell off, or do they simply say, F it, we are going to close above? And that to me is going to be extremely bullish. However, if CME just ends up opening with a gap higher than its price because Bitcoin ends up rallying over the weekend, I think what's going to happen is that CMEs ends up coming and testing the 21 EMA on Tuesday or something like that, and we rally from there. So that's what I'll be looking for. If we actually do have this situation, I'll be looking to be a buyer of the retest of the 21 EMA yet again. Either way, there's another situation, man, where I'll be looking to get back my position, and that's if the 12-hour manages to hold the 21 EMA and the Tenkin for Monday, right? If the 12 hours closing candles above 9,400, that's a easier way to look at it. 9,400 by Monday, I'll be looking to get my position back, and I'll be looking for a break of 10,000 after that. Won't be selling any calls. I don't think so. Thoughts, guys? Agree, disagree?
I agree there. I think that if we start closing over this, we basically take back the 12-hour 21, 12-hour Tenkin. There's too much in line there. There's like the strong kind of support. It was support before that turned into resistance. But we managed to take back that 9.3, I believe. What's this? Yeah, but 9,350-ish. We start seeing multiple 4-hour and 12-hour candles above that. I think we're rallying from here. I do believe that Bitcoin has a good chance of actually closing back into that weekly cloud. Weekly side of the cloud, man, I think I think we're going to go up from there.
Yeah,
I think so too. And I think at that point, like if you're short, where are you wrong?
Yeah.
That's a good question.
That's a really good way to put it, actually. Where are you wrong?
What are your thoughts on this one?
No, there's no good answer to that. That's his point.
That's where I think bears get in denial, and you start shorting without a stop because it can't go higher, and that pretty much fueled the whole rally from 3K to 4K in 3 months, and it's just like there's not a happy ending for bears at that point, because like in a month after breaking 10K, like we could be at 20K.
It's gonna happen so fast. Jesus, you're so right on that, man. I didn't think of that, but you're right on that.
It can just happen so quick, and like after that, it's just.
So I have a question actually for Joe, if she's listening. Are you listening, Joe? Let's see. Let's go to Telegram. She's short right now, right? And earlier this morning, I was a little confused. Joe and Ashok were talking about how the 4-day looked really clean, and there was an easy shot at 9,800-ish. I'm not seeing it. Are you guys seeing it? Am I missing something? I thought I was the 4-day expert over here. Are you seeing
4-day?
it? I don't see the short on the 4-day chart at all.
What price point?
Let's see. I think Ashok and Joe were talking about 9,800-ish. I don't see it at all.
No,
Okay,
I'm
at no
saying
point. I don't see it at any price point over here unless we break 8,500.
I think this is the short. If there is a short position to be had, this is it. It came actually. It was at 9,300. I think that was a good short to be had. If there was one, I'm not seeing. I'm seeing 9,500.
I thought it's okay. I think she got a much better position. I mean, maybe she's the prodigy we think she is, and Jesus Christ, we'll find out. We'll put her at the head of the team then.
On 4-day, I don't see anything. Like the only thing that would fit my system would be believing that Monday's high was the high of the week, and after Monday, you had Tuesday and Wednesday was kind of iffy for me. Like, if you look at the chart and look at daily open for Wednesday, you can see that daily open was held as resistance pretty much on every hourly candle. And you had like that nice little what's that Star Wars character that everyone talks about? Darth Maul.
Darth Maul, yes.
Darth Maul, yeah. You had the nice candle that just
Yeah.
what's that? That's a nice $200 wick in both directions, which pretty much took out all the short stops, but we still held under daily open.
Yep.
And then we sold off. Like, it was a massive, like, what's that? Like a $500 drop. I think that's when quote unquote Satoshi moved coins.
Yeah. And if we just rally all the way back to that point again, it'll just be like, okay, that was a panic event that the market took advantage of, and good job letting go of all of your Bitcoin. You got shook out.
Yeah, and then what? And then what case do bears have at that point? Like, Satoshi sold coins. We sold off like 15% in a day. Now we're back to where it was. Like, is that bearish, really?
What's the Satoshi narrative over there? People think that if Satoshi is selling his Bitcoin at this price, the market is going to... He moved 50 Bitcoin. And the market... I actually was really confused there. I'm like, it has to be... they probably typoed this. They probably mean like 5,000 Bitcoin, not 50 Bitcoin. Why would the market panic over 50 Bitcoin? Is there something I was missing?
Why would Satoshi ever move coins, though? Like, it's never going to happen. And like, they've done like research on whatever pattern miners Satoshi likely used, and it's not even in this like the same pattern. But like, mind you, like I don't follow any of this stuff, and I don't really understand it.
I'll touch on that actually. Let's discuss this. Who cares? Let's say Satoshi. After this coronavirus thing, right? My conviction in Bitcoin has gone up 100x. Even if Satoshi moves his Bitcoin and he dumps it into the market, I'll buy it. Okay, bring it on, Satoshi. If you've dumped the price of Bitcoin to $1, I'll fucking buy all of that. Dump it. Please do. I'm telling you, and there's going to be so many other people who are going to be fucking buy. I don't care. They'll be saying it. All of them will be saying it. I don't care if you're Satoshi. We will buy that Bitcoin. And that's exactly what is going to happen. This is, as soon as you understand that this is decentralized, miners have control, the community has control, the world has control. It doesn't matter what one person does. That's the entire point of Bitcoin. Yes, it will crash the price, but it will climb all the way back up. And if all of us get to go back in time and rebuy Bitcoin at those prices, would you not take it in a jiffy? Would you not take it in a jiffy? That is a gift to us if Satoshi tries to collapse the market because of the amount of Bitcoin that he has. Because that would not be representative of the entire market sentiment. It'd be representative of one guy deciding to maybe cash out for whatever reason, right? It's just an opportunity and not anything to do with the actual fundamentals or the long-term outlook of the market. So the Satoshi thing is never going to scare me. It's never going to scare me.
And it goes against the whole idea of Bitcoin. Like, yes. Satoshi would never move the coins that were obviously identified to him, because like it goes against his whole belief, and that's why the whole thing is anonymous to begin with. So like it makes no sense. Like it was just like a random wallet that was from 2009, and like there's no way to prove it was Satoshi. There's no way to prove it wasn't. So like selling your Bitcoin because of it is, it's just it makes no sense.
Bring it on, Satoshi. If he decides to, like, if he loses his mind for some reason, just goes crazy or comes back to
And
life,
all I'm
I think he's probably dead, man. Like I'm sorry for saying
Who
that, but I
knows
think
he
he's
even has
probably dead.
control of the wallets anymore?
Yeah. It's,
crazy.
and
There's so much
I want
money
to
in
scroll
there.
up a little bit before I forget. Ollie said, yeah, Sean, look at VPR. Legit, it would rip up to 20K if 10.5K breaks, as Fraser said. And yes, I think he's right on that. If we look at Bitcoin quickly on the daily, I think that's essentially what Krisha said too, right? There's no volume. You don't need to. A quick tip for you guys. You guys don't need to look at VPR. VPR is a shortcut, a way of looking at it. You could just simply look at the way the market has moved. The more aggressive the market moves towards the upside, it is very, very likely that low volume was put in that region until we come and consolidate in that region. So, for example, you can look at, what am I looking for? You can just look at this region over here, right? There was no volume put in over here until we had this consolidation between June and October. Then the volume was put in, but now there's no volume above that either, like very, very little. So let's look at VPR anyways. I think it's this. Yeah, right over here. I don't use this much, but zoom out. Yep, there's nothing after 11.6K. It starts fading actually around 9,000. Depends on the range that you're looking at. If you're looking only at this range over here, it fades after 11,000. So I'd say 11,000 is where the volume really, really begins to fade and we have volatile moves. We're looking at this. I'd say, yeah, this region over here. This was the funny thing, eh? We came and actually bounced right off the point of control at 3.8K. So if you're looking at VPVR and it's part of your strategy, that was a good way to buy. I was looking at this after the move happened. I don't look at VPR often. I don't use it much. I like to use fixed range if I'm ever using it, and I use it on the lower time frames. I don't use it on the higher time frames because I just like looking at support and resistance. So yeah, if that does line up, Ollie, good eye over there.
Trader's tool is pretty good.
Trader Fraser's tool?
Vinny.
Oh yeah, that's a great tool, man. Great tool. The seed are lucky to have access to his tool. Or they're not just the tool, the way he explains all the concepts too, right? Using the tool without understanding how to actually use it the way he does is useless. So good job there.
Yeah, thanks guys.
So let's see, any other questions? Sean, are you in a position at the moment? No, man. I tried to long and I missed it I tried to take a long on the lower time frames. Basically the same trade I told you guys about yesterday, right? I was looking for a retest of the 10 SMA on the 1 hour time frame, and I got that, but I did not get my fill in right over here. I was looking for a retest and us to come pretty, like, take out these guys over this area over here, and I did not get filled. I tried 9,060, didn't get filled, bounced and cleared, started moving up to the upside after that. I didn't want to take a high risk trade because we're moving into the weekend. I wanted to have more. So the lower you buy, right? Think of it this way: the lower you buy, it's more insurance on getting out of your trade if it doesn't go well, right? So for less conviction, the more leeway you want to give. So
Yeah.
what indicator? MA63. I don't think you're asking me. Any other questions? Once we pay, we're going to the moon. The case for the bears is that 10K BTC is too expensive. They want to accumulate. What is it? How does that make any sense? Does that make any sense to you guys? The case for the bears is that
What did he say?
The case for the bears is that 10K BTC is too expensive.
What? No, that doesn't make any sense.
Does that? I don't know. Maybe no. Sometimes we just don't understand, right? That's fine too.
Sell wall.
Do you understand what he's saying? Maybe?
I disagree. I think most of the market's waiting for a massive dip to long, and I have a good feeling that it's not going to happen.
Let me tell you guys that I think Bitcoin is extremely, extremely undervalued. any price underneath 20,000, it's extremely undervalued. The more I study Bitcoin, the more I'm convinced of that. And for that, you need to really take yourselves out of the not just the short time frame, but the short term thinking, and think on a more generational level. Understand that what we are looking at over here, what Bitcoin is a monetary revolution that the world has been looking for the last 500 to 1,000 years. Okay, this is the solution that the world has been looking for the last 500 to 1,000 years. Because even as good, you could have pegged a currency against gold, but there were inherent problems with even gold. Bitcoin literally solves so many problems on an economical level, as well as a human psychological level, right? Because people can keep saying that, yeah, humans will do, we should be doing the right things, but we are driven by incentives, and the incentivization around Bitcoin as well, the entire model, what Satoshi managed to create, whether it was by complete fluke or genius, I don't know. It's just mind-blowing. It is just mind-blowing what we have over here. And the more people realize what has been created, you look at the market cap of Bitcoin and be like, how is this market cap? What is the market cap of Bitcoin right now? Does that mean anybody know at the top of their head? I think 180 billion, 2 billion,
It's
200 billion.
like it's almost irrelevant.
It's
In terms of global, that's why holding it just makes so much sense. Even if you're wrong, you just lose what you put in. But like the upside to it is there's no roof to it. Like they just keep making money, so money just becomes less and less valuable. But like this is the hardest asset that's ever been created, and it's digital. So
Yep.
I feel like it's everything that gold is and isn't, and everything gold couldn't be.
yeah, like all the kids growing up now, like everyone's lived in a digital age, and like gold has never been accepted by merchants or anything. But like people complain about Bitcoin, like they can't buy Bitcoin, or they can't use Bitcoin to buy like a Starbucks coffee.
I don't understand that. Yes.
But it's so irrelevant. Like it doesn't matter. Like that. Like people just don't see it, but like they see the same complaints on like whatever bullshit news article they read, and they're like, oh yeah, this will never work. But like you're missing the point. But at the same time, most people have to miss the point for everyone else to succeed with it, right? So like it's okay.
No, Ma, I understand that you're bullish, man. I understand that you are a bull too. I get that. I'm not. We don't mean to say that you are bearish. Apologies if we were coming out. We're talking about the bears in general in the market. We're not trying to say that you are bearish. Do you buy coffee with gold?
No, it's never happened.
Exactly.
And it's never even been brought up. Like no one even talks about gold. If you try to buy actual gold at some sort of a jeweler or whatever, like you're paying like a 5 to 7% premium. And if you want to sell it, it's the same way, but you have to sell at a 5% discount.
Discount, yeah.
So like you're losing 10% right away, and like gold's like what? Like it's done really well this year. But like you're talking like a 20% move in gold in a year is unbelievable.
Here's the question I have for perhaps you guys can answer this. How could you possibly be bullish on gold but be bearish on Bitcoin? Explain that to me. I just want to know. I just want to understand how. Maybe there's something I'm missing. There's no way you can be like, yeah, gold is good, but Bitcoin is
You have to be like super very tunnel visioned on gold to not, actually even consider Bitcoin, because like I said, Bitcoin is everything that gold is and everything that gold couldn't be.
That's fine. Being tunnel vision on gold is fine. I'm talking about being bearish. What is the argument against Bitcoin? I just want to know the argument. I don't want to. I'm not trying to convince people who won't hold gold to convince Bitcoin. I want to know, why are they bearish on Bitcoin? Like, how could you be How could you say gold is going up, but I know Bitcoin's going down? That does not make sense to me.
I would just say ignorant.
What was that, Fraser?
Ignorant.
Oh, yeah.
Ignorant. Yeah. There's no reason. Like I can't think of anything. There's literally like if you're bullish on gold, like I don't see a narrative that you can possibly feed to say that okay, I'm bullish on gold, but I'm bearish on Bitcoin. Like it has to be super it has to be superficial.
So,
It has to be a very, very superficial reason.
So I'll tell you, and the reason that what you just touched on right now, Krisha, is actually truer in more ways than you understand. The narrative for gold is like, okay, you know what? I can go and touch my gold. I can hold my gold. I can see it. And this is what one guy said. He said, I can go to the vault in the bank and look at all my gold over there. And I'm talking about the big holders, okay, over here. There's actually an argument against that. Okay, you're going to a freaking bank to see that your gold is there. It's not your gold, man. If it's in the bank's hands, it's not your gold. And if you are storing it yourself, that is a cost on its own. How is a guy like you and me and a guy who's playing, I'll touch on this too later, a guy who's playing like this World of Warcraft but decides to buy a little bit of gold to hedge against his salary, how is he going to store his gold safely? Right? We can't buy a huge bank, a personal bank in a vault and store it all over there. There's going to be security costs over there and then armed men, all of that nonsense. So yes, you want to have something superficial that you can touch and feel, but that is a time of the past. Those are days long gone, and there's inherent issues with having something like that. Like Ma just said over here, oh yeah, gold is nice and shiny and you can touch it and hold it, but that is a problem in itself. Bitcoin, you can have all the security, even better, and never have to worry about storing it because it can fit in your mind.
You don't even have to go too far to look at the one of the most primary sort of differences between gold and Bitcoin. I feel like Bitcoin is a lot more accessible. The barrier around gold is quite heavy. Now, just take coronavirus. No one ever thought that we'd be in this kind of situation, right? But what has this lockdown really done? It's limited us to where we can move around. Now, in order for us to even go and buy gold, we need to go and physically get it. Whereas Bitcoin, it's all accessible right now, right here, at the comfort,
exactly.
within your roof, within your home. And in fact, if you ask people even how to acquire investment grade gold,
so
not a lot of people will be able to kind of give you that answer. Whereas a lot of millennials, a lot of people, actually growing up now in this time, if you ask them about Bitcoin, I think they can navigate their way around this world to go and attain Bitcoin. I don't think that barrier is as much as it is when it comes to actually acquiring.
And funnily enough, Krisha, this leads me to what I wanted to touch on with the kid playing World of Warcraft. There's a psychological barrier that you would think would be there for crypto, but it's actually the complete opposite. When I was talking to, I recently started playing World of Warcraft just to get into a more casual setting, and I've been playing with this kid from the States. He's around 29 years old. He just recently lost his job because of the coronavirus thing, and we've just been getting to know each other. And I tell him that I trade the markets, blah blah blah, and it stopped at there initially. But then again, a few weeks later, while discussing it even more, I told him, I trade Bitcoin. He's like, oh, Bitcoin, okay. Yeah, I think I could do that. He's like, when I thought you were trading the markets, I thought you meant trading the share market. Okay, I thought you were trading stocks, and that was scary. But hey, if you're trading Bitcoin, I'd be willing to learn. So I was actually surprised over there. I thought it'd be the opposite, that, oh my God, he's trading Bitcoin, man. Can't believe he's one of those crypto fools. But the reception I got from him in terms of, okay, I'd rather trade Bitcoin versus trade the stock market, the comfort he has with trading Bitcoin surprised me. So we already headed to that direction where everyone around our age, our generation, is more willing to trade cryptocurrencies or hold digital assets than they are willing to hold Apple or trade Apple, right? It's just the comfort's already there because we grew up in a digital world.
And like, I 100% agree with you. And like, another thing to think about is like, this is all the new money, right?
Yep.
These are the people that are going to be buying for like the rest of their like working life. And like another thing to think about is Bitcoin. It's divisible up to like a million parts or whatever. But when you look at these stocks, like I think I think Robinhood was the first people or the first company to make stocks like divisible, so you could buy like parts of Apple and parts of Amazon. But for the average person, like when you look at the Amazon stock and it's like $2,000, like that's something you have to work up towards. But if you have a couple $100s in your savings account and you want to invest in something, like you can buy $50 worth of Bitcoin and it's in your wallet right away.
And I wish more people knew that. People think that you have to buy one entire Bitcoin. Not everybody knows that you can buy a fraction of Bitcoin. So Joe says over here, perhaps the people who want to hold on to their power, which BTC is posing a threat to. Yes, you are right over there, Joe, but now it's actually turning to be the opposite situation, because we're living in a world now that is so bifurcated, a world that is so like the political the globalization of all these countries, they're waning, right? Your allies aren't really allies anymore, and enemies are becoming stronger enemies. The walls between countries are becoming stronger and stronger. So what's happening is that weakness is actually adding strength to Bitcoin as a global asset. Why? Because if you try to shut down a country, if a country tries to shut down Bitcoin in their country, what's going to end up happening is they're going to end up losing a lot of brain power as well as wealth, and draining that themselves into their enemy's country, right? So, for example, recently opened up Bitcoin mining in their country, pretty much as a hedge. I think very blatantly as a hedge against the US dollar, as they're really tied to the US dollar, right? And the whole world is tied to the US dollar right now. Iran's like, none of that. We are going to have our Bitcoin mining operations, and that's going to help us get away from our peg to the US dollar. And what happened since 1971 was the petrodollar caused all the world's currencies to be reliant on the US dollar, and with that we also had globalization get stronger and stronger and stronger. Now come to today, we have the opposite happening, right? What's happened is Iran has started their mining operations. Now every adversary to Iran is going to be thinking, shit, I better do this too, or Iran's going to have an advantage over us. So we either one, allow it to happen in our country, or two, do a little bit of it ourselves just in case. So now you not only have hedge funds that are hedging with Bitcoin in their portfolios, you have governments that are doing it just a little bit, right? Allocating just a little bit as a hedge. And you can't, so Canada can't stop Bitcoin in their country, because if they are seeing their adversaries do it, they are going to be forced to keep doing it. And then similar situation with USA, Russia, China, blah, blah, blah. So the global aspect of Bitcoin, where anybody can leave the country now and just go to a country that allows it, and the fact that globalization between these countries is waning, is adding strength to Bitcoin, because the only way you can stop Bitcoin is actually a global effort towards stopping it. Every country needs to go, or at least 90% of them needs to go ahead and really try hard to stop Bitcoin, because unless you do that, people are always going to have options, multiple options, to go to another country and just set up operations over there. So this is actually turning into Bitcoin's strength, where countries are going to force to not only allow it, but also join in on the efforts, because if they are worried about their currency losing purchasing power, well, they have to have Bitcoin in their reserves. And that's what happened with gold too. People who did not trust their currency back then, to countries that did not trust their currency back then to actually hold purchasing power, they were holding gold reserves in their bank instead. And I think we might be heading into that situation. And just think about how low Bitcoin's market cap is right now when we think about the global what's the word I'm looking for? Application of wealth towards this asset that has only 21 million coins. Oh my God, it's just mind blowing.
Yeah. The thing is that it presents, I think it's going to be a better. Sean, I just recently read a tweet out to you over, gold and countries, because of the current situation and because of, a potential rising US dollar, countries are going to start limiting the exports of gold, right? Just to be able to secure their FX rate.
Yep. So what are options? What are people's options going to be? You can't limit people's access to Bitcoin. So
yeah,
it's just easier for you to get your hands on Bitcoin right now, and has way more upside potential. I do want to address this statement over here. Also, a 51% attack on Bitcoin would be cheap for almost any powerful country out there. No, that is not true at all. It is actually very, very expensive. And I want you to think about that. Yes, I'm just he also followed up with, I'm not bearish, just thinking of the worst case scenario. Okay, so a country decides to put in their, multiple countries actually, let's say multiple countries come together, because that's what it's going to take right now, to put a coordinated 51% attack on Bitcoin. I want you to answer this for me, all right? I want you to answer this for me. What would be the implications of that if they manage to have a 51% attack? I don't think people understand what a 51% attack really is and what the implications of a 51% attack is. There's not much that you can actually do, but I want you to actually think about that and write the answer down. If you have the answer, just write it down here. I think you don't. If you don't, that's fine, because most people don't. They like to say things out because everybody else is just reciting it, right? So they recite it too. Just go do your research. I have articles written on 51% attack, proof of work, etc. Explained it very, very simply using analogies. Just Google Mango research and proof of work. So there's not much a country can do with that, right? The amount that they can get done, reverse one transaction probably, like, it's not worth it for them. They'll be putting in so much effort, and yes, they get to do just that. It's just not worth it. That's what makes every 10 minutes that Bitcoin passes, Bitcoin survives, makes it stronger and stronger and stronger. And the effort to actually manipulate the attack. Okay, this is what's going to happen. A country's going to be like, all right, let's go ahead and take it down. Let's take it down, and they'll get some allies, and then they'll all get together in a room, and they'll put in the effort to research what it would take to take it down. And they'll be like, all right, we got to take down the network, and to do that, we're going to require so and so hash power, and with that, we're going to be able to gain this. Okay, and this is going to be not worth it, right? So the risk to reward is just not there. Like, even if they gain a 51% attack, by the way, you're not going to be guaranteed the reward. You're not going to be guaranteed the reward. They're like, oh man, this is not looking worth it at all. So what are our alternatives? Then some guy in the room is going to be like, okay, why are we doing this exactly? And then somebody else is going to say, well, we're doing this because Iran is doing it, and we need to take it down because whatever Iran is doing is bad, and we need to take it down. Like, okay, but we can't take it down. It's just not worth it. Well, then let's take it over. Well, you can't take it over either. It may not be worth it. Then they're going to be like, okay, let's just join them in this. Because the best case scenario is that even if you do take over the network, all you're going to end up doing is have more security added to each block. Yes, the only way that they can actually take down Iran's power over Bitcoin, right, is by gaining more Bitcoin themselves, by trying to outcompete Iran for that Bitcoin. And by that logic, they'll be adding more security, more hash power into the network. So any country right now trying to take down Bitcoin will eventually realize that all that they can do is strengthen Bitcoin's network. So I actually don't. The only way that Bitcoin goes down right now is through a software software issue where the developers completely miss it, or they intentionally go ahead and a coordinated effort from the miners and the developers to just let a software bug go through, and in which case, yes, Bitcoin will go down, but the genie's out of the bottle, and somebody else will just come and roll back to the old code and just restart everything again, and we'll all get an opportunity to buy cheap Bitcoin. And yeah, so the genie's out of the bottle, guys. It's done. Out of the lamp, it's done. The world is changing forever. We may not see the changed world. But our kids will. Our kids will. Like, this is going to change the world for the next thousands of years. The Russian ban? What ban? I didn't know there was a Russian ban. Do you guys know about this? Am I ranting too much? I'm sorry. I feel like I'm just going on a ranting spree.
Hey, I didn't want to cut you off, but I'm gonna have to get off here.
What was that, Aphasia? Or you cut off?
I'm gonna have to get off the stream.
Oh yeah. That's fine. It's probably late where you are.
Yeah, it's pretty late.
Man, it was fun.
Yeah, no, this was great. Ooh, we should all do this again.
Yeah, I think we should do this every weekend.
I'm down for that.
Yeah, I think we should make a
same here.
schedule every weekend, and we'll have a little bit more structure to it too next time. This is the first stream, so just a lot of technical issues.
All right, Fraser, have a good night.
Have a good night, man. Sleep
I'll
well.
talk to you guys later.
We'll take a few
Yeah,
more
see you,
questions
man.
before we end off
See you
the
guys.
stream. Do you guys want to look at any particular charts? See ya, Fraser. See ya, Vinny. Do you guys want to look at any charts? Ollie, Jojo, Vishal, Ma, Felix. How's it going, buddy? Felix is like an OG of the seed program, by the way. Yeah, man, I get excited too. Like, if you really get me talking about Bitcoin, this is why I don't talk about Bitcoin. You guys very rarely hear me talk about fundamentals, because I'll
For
just
those
go
of you who
on
don't
and-
know, yeah, I mean, Mango actually started off with, Sean on fundamentals. So that's how we actually started researching the fundamentals. And Sean does get very, very passionate, but rightfully so. I mean, this is a financial revolution that we're talking about.
Yes, we are.
ETH charts.
Bitcoin's coming down to test the daily 21 EMA if anybody's looking to be a buyer.
Yeah. There was actually a rising wedge-like formation, but we all know how rising wedges have been playing out.
Mr. Bro says, thanks for the explanation. It seems I was misunderstanding the effects of a 51% attack. Yeah, man, a lot of people do. Like, so when you hear people on Twitter or Reddit make these claims, it's a good habit to start questioning their claims, or rather just asking more questions on top of that, right? Because the word 51% attack sounds scary, but what does it even mean? So, Kush, are you talking about the ETH chart? Do you want me to look at that?
Yeah, I'm actually just looking at the ETH chart. So someone had asked for the ETH chart just now. Moosey.
The Ethereum chart
Okay.
actually looks a lot more. Wow, it's pretty surprising.
ETHUSD is getting rejected right now. It's the same damn level. Like, it's been here for the past 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks now. 211, man, 211. If you're looking for upward price move on ETHUSD, look for price to be taking out 211. As soon as we start closing over it, that's gonna, I do believe that the picture is gonna morph into something more bullish. But yeah, that's the price point I'll be looking for. After that, I think my next target for Ethereum is gonna be at 248, I believe. So it's gonna be a significant move from there. Yep, about
248 you said?
250. Sorry?
250? I see what you're looking
Yeah,
at.
250. But yeah, that 211 has just been plaguing ETHUSD. And even if say ETHUSD actually gets rejected at this resistance here at 211, but you see ETHBTC move up in value, that's basically just telling you that Bitcoin is just dumping harder relative to Ethereum. And that's still, if you're someone who's looking to be bullish, that's still not, the best picture. That's not the picture that you want. You want to make sure that ETHUSD is moving independently, right? And it's moving in the right direction. It's moving in the more bullish direction. But yeah.
At BTC looks pretty good. Like, I'd be a buyer here at around 22,000 Satoshi? Yeah, 22,200 Satoshi.
Yeah, no, ETH-BTC is looking good because right now, like how BTC is dumping, ETH is not moving that much relative to Bitcoin.
Yeah, I think Joe says you guys should do this every weekend. Yeah, I think this is a more casual stream, and just discuss anything, everything would be.
Yeah. Next time we should play the games though. So
Yeah,
this
I don't know.
actually we intended guys to let's say play a game. We're playing Brawlhalla and talk about crypto while we're at it. But today we had a lot of technical difficulties as this is our first stream.
So, Kisha, you want to lose on Brawlhalla, or do you want to talk about couple of charts and end the stream?
Do
you wanna show
no, I
off
mean,
your
I'll let
skills?
these guys decide. You wreck me. You always wreck me.
No, it's not been that easy anymore.
You've been practicing.
So Vishal asked, given what you guys were saying about the unusual behavior BDC has been playing out, would you say that this may not be the best time to test seed fundamentals? No, not at all. Why would you say that?
I mean, how do I put this? The seed fundamentals is what keeps you safe.
Yeah, it keeps you on the right side of the
amidst
market.
the chaos.
Yeah.
It lets you trade and trade profitably, right? Because it's going to allow you to gauge and predict in a more quantified way where Bitcoin is likely to go. Not just Bitcoin, any chart, even crypto, traditional, whatever. That's what's going to keep you in the game. That's where you are going to come out from all this choppiness.
Let me ask you though, Vishal, what do you mean by unusual behavior exactly? Like, we've not really talked about unusual behavior. Nothing that the charts will do is really unusual, right? Could you expand on that? Because perhaps I'm misunderstanding your question. To answer Felix's question, when did the Mango program begin? Okay, so the Mango seed actually started because when did it start? I think like around 4 months before you joined, right? Because a few guys from the Mango Grove actually asked me to create the program, and because it was hard to teach on the daily videos, right? And they got together and they said, "Hey, Sean, if we help you boot up the program, would you be willing to create a course?" And that's how it actually got created. And yeah, you were, I think, in the initial batch of people who joined right after we started the program. Any thoughts about Link? Mr. Bro asks. Yes, Krisha, what are your thoughts on Link?
Linkadink. Damn. Well, Link is currently testing support. So on the daily, if you look at the daily actually it closed really, really well. I do think the daily closed well. And right now, it seems like we broke out of some sort of Adam and Eve like formation. Okay, so we broke out. It was a
BDC.
Link BTC. Apologies. Yeah. Looking at Link BTC.
It's looking really good.
So it broke out of the formation. Okay, so we closed well over it. Let's go and take a look at the volume. And the volume was it was decent. Okay, it was all right. I'm not going to say it was spectacular. It was a decent breakout. But no, it appears that we're testing the neckline of the breakout right now at around 4307 Satoshis. So if we see a good support on the daily there, I think this is going to rally at least 462, which is around, what is that? What is that, Sean?
462.
That is around about 7% of the up.
Yeah.
I'm just looking at the daily time frame. This analysis is early on the daily, but yeah, right now it's testing that daily Kijun. Yeah, I mean, what we don't want to see, however, on the bearish side of ChainLink is we don't want to see daily price closing underneath the Kijun, the daily Kijun. Let's make it simple. I think if we lose the Kijun and we lose the daily 21 EMA, I think we're coming back down.
There you go, guys. The expert analysis. She's been nailing it. Krisha, this actually looks good enough for me to want to take a trade here. Actually, on
Yeah,
the
it actually looks really good.
Like I like the support that we saw of this horizontal over here. Came, tested it, and nice support, nice reaction of it. So really easy way to manage risk too, right? Because you can basically we take out this wick over here, or we close underneath this horizontal. So this is how I like to judge whether a trade is a good trade, guys. You want to see if it's easy to manage risk. And Trader Fridge had a really strong point over there when he said, so if you do start shorting above 10k, when are you wrong? When are you wrong? You don't know when you're wrong. Like that's really hard. If you don't know when you're wrong, you end up in a situation where you're just holding on to the trade. So I like to know when I'm wrong fast, and I want to be a clear way for me to be wrong where I can't doubt myself and allow my psychology to keep me in the trade, right? Because we are all flawed, man. We hold on to reasons to not be wrong. And over here, I know when I'm wrong. We either lose this horizontal here, we lose this wick over here, I'm getting out the trade, right? Because I'll be playing it off this horizontal, and this being a higher low compared to these lows over here. This is me hunting for a higher low here. So yeah, I might actually take this one. Thank you. Who was it? OMG Bro who put it on to us?
What you said was very important, by the way, guys. What Sean just said, it's about knowing when you're wrong. And so when you're stepping into trades, okay, now you may have your analysis pat down, but you're stepping into a trade. You need to understand a couple of things. What is your time horizon on the trade? What exactly are you trading? Like there has to be a plan behind it. You know, what are you getting in based on? When are you wrong? And what kind of what are you expecting from this trade? What is the range that you are trading? Is this going to be a long-term trade? Are you going to hold this? It's about preparing yourself, preparing your trade, and preparing your emotional self, your mindset. That preparation has to be there before you put on a trade. And if you don't have that preparation, like when you begin, it's fine, but start working on these things, even if it means making a check, right? Just have a hypothesis, have some sort of idea about what are you trading on? What is your trade about? Plan it.
Yeah, especially in the beginning, because as time goes by and you start taking the same trades like I do. If you guys notice, if you guys have been following me for a while, you guys know I'm pretty much taking the same trade setups over and over again. Like it's nothing new, right? As time goes on, you guys understand more about what I'm doing because I've been able to teach it to you guys. But it's really the same thing, guys. So what happens with that? I know exactly my exits and everything. I don't have to think about it much because it's the same thing over and over again, which is why I recommend sticking to one trading style, right? You don't want to mix up Elliott wave trading and support and resist trading and this and that. People try to learn everything and they make their lives even more difficult. So yeah, when I was explaining options trading to Krisha too, I've been teaching her all these various strategies, and when I told her that you know what, Krisha, you don't really need to learn all the strategies, right? Like you need to, it's good to know about all the strategies, it's good to understand all the strategies, but when you start employing them, you just need to pick a couple, maybe a handful of strategies that you're comfortable with, that you like, that fits your personality, and trade those. And then when I explained that to her, she's like, yes. And again, suddenly options doesn't sound too complicated for you either.
Yeah. No, like when you explained it that way, I mean, it was a lot more, I was a lot less averse to actually picking it up. I remember trying to pick up options last year, and I was looking at a couple of YouTube videos. I'm like, screw this, man. I'm not doing this. I'm done. Like, it was so confusing. There was just so much. There was a lot of this options link, and it just all seemed confusing, right? Because you're looking at puts and sells, and you can buy a put, you can sell a put, and it was just too much. And I'm like, no, I think this is, I'm going to leave this for some other time. But when you broke it down the way you did, that sort of really helped me.
Yep. I think they teach it wrong too. So Vishal says, I can't. I thought Fraser was suggesting that we are seeing these massive wick and hunts and describe them as being random. I misunderstood what he's saying. So what Fraser was essentially saying was that if you are being a bear and you're, in fact, if you use and we touched on this, Trader Fraser and I touched on this the last time we did a call like this on the weekend, but we didn't stream it. If you're trading Fraser style, you're going to get wicked out and hunted out of your position, and you're going to lose a lot of money. But if you use the techniques and the method and the risk management that we teach in Mango Seed, you'd actually not be facing any of those issues. And I wish he was here to explain why too, because he understands, because he's watched the entire program as well, right? He understands exactly why. So actually the seed program is geared for a market like this, protects you in a market like this. So what was the other part of your question? The other, maybe I'm just feeling this way because trades are not going your way or something. Yeah, trades aren't going my way. Well, from what I'm understanding or noticing, Vishal, you're taking trades against resistance because you're getting caught into the lower time frames, man. You're making it hard for yourself. You're trying to get big wins, but you're playing on the lower time frames. If you're using Mango Seed fundamentals, you would have been buying on the daily support levels, right? And you had support over here, clear support over here. You'd have been looking to buy around this major drop over here, 8,550, or even over here 8,000, the one I missed. And then you don't make too many trades. Okay, let me put it this way: the fact that you're using the word trades, right? You're using the word plural. You shouldn't even be having a plural word over there, because there weren't that many trades to be had. There was only 1 or 2 trades to be had in this entire region, and then a lot of waiting after that. If you're new, you shouldn't be looking to play the low time frames. You shouldn't be having many trades. You shouldn't be using the word plural when you're playing within a month's worth of time frame over here. Like, how long have you been? It's been only 2 or 3 weeks in this month, right? So you're trading the low time frames. You shouldn't be having too many trades. Just put it that way. You have to be very, very, very patient, be very choosy and picky about your trades. And it's funny because this is something that newer traders should be doing, and traders that are more experienced should be trading the lower time frames. So you see the complete opposite happening. You see the traders who have traded who have a lot of experience trading, they are the ones who are trading only the high time frames, and they are staying away completely from the lower time frames. They're not using the lower time frames. They look at it, but they won't make decisions of it, right? And that's because of the way BTC is. If you try to trade the low time frames in the long run, you are more likely to lose, because it's just, you're making it hard for yourself, man.
No, I don't think, yes, you are more likely to lose, because, I mean, I still believe that you need that experience to be able to trade those lower time frames, because it's fine. I mean, you have technical analysis has its place, but also like that mental sort of fortitude that you build over time, also has its place. Now, I do believe that you need that emotional kind of strength, and you need that trader's mindset to really be able to trade the lower time frames consistently, successfully. But more importantly, I do believe that you can trade the lower time frames if you have the right time horizon in your head. A lot of people, they'll trade the lower time frames in anticipation to catch a huge trend move.
Yep.
So when that happens, imagine waiting on a big trend move, okay, you taking a trade on, say, the 1 hour time frame, looking to catch a good 20-30% move. You're looking to catch a proper trend, but you get rejected off of one of the levels, one of the higher time frame levels that just comes swooping in, and you don't even.
Yep. And that's exactly what Fraser was saying around half an hour ago when he was explaining his trading style. He said that's what he does. Okay, that's what he does. And he said this may not be for everybody. Okay, because it sounds easier said than done, but it's actually really, really difficult. And if you guys are trying to do that without the experience and the mental fortitude that Fraser has, you're going to end up in trouble. For example, Joe took a really, really nice shot of the top of the weekly cloud, right? It went her way. And this candle here, it went her way, but she I think she was making the same mistake of letting the lower time frames influence her decision on a higher time frame move, and you end up, well, a winning trade ends up being a loser. So that you have to be careful of that too, which is why I like to keep it simple. But simple does not mean comfortable, right? I've been talking about that recently. And Ollie asked a question. Let me address that. So, general question. It's not a general question, actually. It's a pretty good question, Ollie. Where are you going to be turning midterm bearish? Closes below 2-day 200 or weekly 21 EMA? So weekly 21 EMA. Okay, first let's talk about weekly 21 EMA. Weekly, it's very unlikely we close underneath the weekly 21 EMA this week, right? So what I'll be looking at is a close underneath the Kijun as the first sign, but the weekly 21 EMA is likely going to move up to around this region around here now, around 8,600, 8,400. Now from the weekly, my next time frame that I'd like to look at is the 4-day time frame, right? And look at where the 4 days coming in at, that 8,450 region, 8,500 region that I was talking about so much yesterday. If you missed yesterday's video, go watch it, because I did that video pretty much live, and a lot of confluence at the 8,500 level. Now we're seeing the bottom of the cloud there too, and the 4-day 21 EMA closing in 15 hours is likely going to come up to that level too. So that's where I'm going to start looking for midterm bearishness, not the weekly, because the weekly has an entire week to go, and I wouldn't be looking at that for midterm. And then you mentioned 2-day 200. Well, where's that? 8,500, right? So we're seeing 8,500 come up over and over again. Then we have daily major region at 8,502. If you just look at this horizontal here, it's pretty much this neckline. So yeah, 8,500, man, that's where I'll get midterm bearish for the downside. Until then, I don't see any reason to be getting overly aggressive over here. I did talk about this formation as well on the 12 hour that we might be putting in. Might be too early to be talking about. In fact, this wick over here now is making me a little bit more convinced, but this could break to either side. Remember, this is a neutral formation. What would you say? This something like this. 11,363, Krisha. Are you seeing my stream, Krisha? You probably can't, eh? But we have a symmetrical triangle. It's a bit delayed. So the symmetrical triangle points to around 11,400 if we break this to the upside. This is the explosive move that's going to cause a cascading of moves after.
Yeah. And that's the thing, people, you guys, whoever's on here, just watch out for those zones. Zoom out, okay? Now, this is one trick that I employ, and it's worked really well. Zoom the hell out of your chart, so go onto the weekly, go onto the monthly or whatever, and just spot out high volatility zones. So look at zones where price just shot the hell up, no stopping, nothing. And that's usually, those are zones where, you know, as soon as price enters that, or say it closes a candle over that, we're going. Like, there's very little stopping it at that point. The one zone that actually I had, Sean, I think I showed this to you on one of my charts, where I had like multiple Bitcoin charts, and there was this one zone I was looking at. So this was after the 3K dump, and I had the zone marked out. This was at around that 7,100 level. Now, this was on the monthly, okay? And I remember, you know, I marked this out. We were still at around 5K, okay? Marked this out. And I went to Sean, I'm like, Sean, if we close a monthly over this, that's it. And I actually made a note on my chart saying that close over, rally. Close under, rally down.
It was 6,400. That was the major level.
Yes, my chart is not loading. Yeah. I think my internet's a bit slow right now.
Was that
6,400. And as soon as, and it was a clean monthly close, guys. Just made it. And what do you know? Freaking rallied all the way back up 10K. And it was fast.
I remember telling her that, you know, when it comes to those kind of things, she's really, really good. And she has a lot of conviction in it too, but she doesn't trade it, right? So her analysis, just because she puts forward that analysis, doesn't mean I'm going to trade it. Like, that's her analysis and her conviction, but she's been right on it many, many times.
I took the trade, but I took it too late.
Yeah.
I took it too late.
Yeah. So that was.
I missed a good like not thousand, but very close to $1,000 from, because that was the level, the 6K region. I only took my trade as soon as we entered the 7K region, right? I think I already have a video on that. It was still, I mean, it's a significant chunk if you really have to think about it. You know, you do the percents. It's a significant chunk. So yeah, it's good to have that conviction. You know, so if you have enough conviction, take a position good enough to support that conviction.
Oh yeah, that's something we have to. We've yet to fully incorporate, right? Like that's hard to do. It takes like almost a lifetime to fully to really go hard when you have conviction. Like I have some regrets in not going extremely hard on this trade over here. I went really hard, but I had a lot. When I've been assessing my previous trades, right, I try to think about where I could have gone better, and my conviction on this trade, guys, was really strong, really strong. Like I felt this move. I nailed the entire run. Like I knew this, and then so I got in the entry here, took profits off this level over here, or rather hedged, okay, and then unhedged after we started coming back down to this region over here, and then again and then you look back at it, that could have been a much bigger win if you traded the conviction. Okay, so going back to the comments over here, Ma says trading is half mental power, and that's exactly it, right? Exactly what we're talking about right now too. If I had the conviction to even trade when I'm right even stronger, that would have been that would have turned a win into a much stronger win. Ollie says, yeah, exactly, Sean, about too many strats, analysis paralysis. Well said, man. Analysis paralysis. When because you need to understand, okay, you need to understand that you may have a strategy that is telling you to go long, okay, but there's somebody else who's playing his strategy as well, and that strategy is telling him to go short. Neither of you are right. It's about who wins in the long term. Even though his strategy might be completely counter to your strategy, he may be profitable in the long run, all right? That particular trade, he may be wrong on. He may be wrong on that particular trade, but it doesn't matter because his strategy will make him profitable in the long run. So there are going to be times where one strategy is telling you to go long and another strategy is telling you to go short, and there are people on either side of the strategy. But if you start playing multiple strategies and you're in a situation where you're being told to go long and short, you end up with analysis paralysis and you don't know what to do, and you're just like a deer in headlights, and you watch the train run away without you, and you miss really good moves. So be very careful on that too. Comments. True, I'm an old geezer. Oh really? How old are you, man? You don't have to answer if you don't want to. Felix, okay, this is exciting. Felix caught the trade at 8,050, clearly using the SNR techniques in seed, but I'm not sure. Let me. Whoa, you literally caught the falling knife.
Is gold.
Yeah. Hard to be wrong when you mark levels like Sean teaches. So what Felix has been doing is that he's been watching the seed program over and over again, and he's been taking notes and rewatching it, and he's commented on how the more he watches it, the more he realizes, the more he learns, right? The things that you think you fully understand the first run, then you go trade the markets, and then you come back to it, you're like, oh, okay, that's what I missed, this is what I missed, blah blah. So he's been, I'm really impressed with his dedication and determination to get better and better. And yes, exactly that. If you use the SNR techniques, right, you would have actually, this would not have been you catching a falling knife. You would have actually caught this trade well. So good job, man. Good job. Proud of you. And I'm guessing you're still in your trade. Why wouldn't you be? A really good position. Can I have your help for this period? What do you mean? I would like to know price of Bitcoin and XRP to entry. No, man, we do not give entries and exits like that. Check out Sean's video from yesterday. Yeah, you can watch my video from yesterday or just listen to what we're talking about. I don't talk about XRP though. I can look at it quickly, but I won't be giving you any entries and exits. That you will never get that at Mango.
Yeah.
I'm not very
XRP
familiar
BTC.
with Adam and Eve. Well, I'll explain Adam and Eve to you quickly. And Kusha's probably going to hate me for my crude explanation, but you guys know EM patterns. So what is this? This is this is a double top, right? That's what people call a double top. An M. Well, an Adam and Eve is just like an oblong M, where you have something like this, or you have something like this, where one guy is the Adam and the other guy is the Eve, right? It's just an M with like one guy being male and one guy being, the other one being female. In a way, it is very sexist, because it is referencing the notion that one is bigger and wider and shorter and taller. So yeah, that's
right. I don't like this explanation at all.
There's nothing different. It's nothing different from a normal M-like formation, a double top formation. So an Adam and Eve is a variation. It's a sexist variation of a double top. That's what it is. There you go. Sure,
It's a double top. I feel like it's a double top, just a little more bearish because it's implying that on the second. Okay, now the second push, usually you'll notice that the Eve, which is more of the rounded, fails to get to the highest point. The bulls tried, right? However, they failed, and there was a bit of distribution in that section.
Yep, that's pretty much it.
So usually an Adam and Eve will be marked by like more of a pointy sort of, followed by another, push. They tried, and they were met with resistance early. And you can see the multiple tries on that Eve, right? You tried the push, a bearish push. They tried again. Once again, there was more bearish sell pressure. So that's a more bearish picture than your regular double top.
So Mr. Bro says the stream is lagging a lot for me. I'm about 5 minutes behind real time. I did just check my OBS, and it seems like in the past 2 minutes we have dropped around 0.1% frames. So maybe it is us, man. And he says hopefully it'll be more synchronized next time. Yeah, this is our first time streaming. We pretty much did impromptu. So apologies for all the technical issues and why this has been really like sloppy on our part. But hey, there was no way for me to test a stream. I just wanted to pretty much dive in and be like, we'll deal with whatever issues we have. And yeah,
can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Can everyone hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Okay, because I just kind of switched. I was actually on my, it kind of makes sense, Mr. Bro. Apologies. But it makes sense because I was actually, Sean, I was on my data all this time.
Oh, you were using data this entire time.
I was using my data.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yes. So yep, my bad, guys, my bad.
Hey, John, how's it going, man? Good to see you in here. So I tried scalping a couple of days ago with $10. Dude, like seriously, that's such a good thing to do. I recommend to every seed member that joins, right? I tell them, listen, now for the next few months, I want you to trade only this $50 or $100 account. If you want to reduce that to even freaking $20, that's completely fine. It doesn't matter, because when you're learning to trade, you should be pretending that that's a $10,000 account. Yes, it's $10, but you should be pretending it is a $10,000 account. All right, like mentally prepare, mentally really pretend it's 10,000. So if you lose that $1 in your head, you should have lost 1,000 out of $10. If you lose $1, you've just lost 1,000. Okay. And then you start realizing, when you start seeing that through, if you have the discipline to see that through, you start realizing that, damn, these are all the mistakes I'm making. And if I traded like this with a $100,000 account, and now my account is sitting at $5 from 10, I would have just lost $50,000 just making stupid mistakes. So yeah, trade with $10, pretend it is $10,000, and take it from there. Try to double that, right? Everybody wants to start off with an account balance, and they want to double it in a few months. Try to double $10 without losing it first. Okay, try. If you lose it and you just put in $10 and you keep trying like that, that doesn't count. Try to double that on your first go, and trading with proper rules that you would have used if you were trading $100,000. So you can't go ahead and freaking 50x leverage because you have nothing to lose, and then you say, oh yeah, I lost only $10, right? That doesn't count either, because if you had a $100,000 account and you're 50x leveraging, I don't know about that, man. You're not going to last more than a few days in this space. So yeah, smash that like button, guys. If you guys want to, if you don't want to, do whatever if you want. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm pretty tired. Any more questions? We're taking last questions. I'll scroll up in the meantime. Good morning. Yes, good morning to you too. Smooth.
Yeah, you missed that, Sean.
Yeah, I missed that today.
You're most welcome, Ollie.
It's a goddamn 3 hours.
Smash
stream.
it, that's right.
Unlist live replay, one stream. Should we unlist this, Kusha? Or keep it listed? What do you think?
I don't know. I'll let you make an admin call on that.
Yeah, I'm gonna unlist it. The people who did join get to watch, get to enjoy it.
You guys are the best. Thank you.
yeah, we'll do these every yeah. Thank you, Ollie. We'll do these every week. Cool. All right, guys. Thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in. Until then, do the mango way. As first I'm supposed to say, we'll see you next time. Until then, wow, I'm tired. Do the mango way. Do the stress-free way. Ciao, guys. End
Ciao, guys.
stream.